Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. 1620thezone.com and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Matt, and Jimmy.
All right, good morning, good Tuesday morning. Going up on a Tuesday, just 2 days away from the start of the football season around here.
Or
I know. Go.
It's tomorrow. It's just tomorrow. Think about it, right? We get to.
No, I thought you would do like one plus one.
Think
Isn't
about
that how that works?
Think
that
about
math?
it. Think about it. We get to tomorrow, and all you're going to be thinking about is, hey, the game is tomorrow. So you're essentially there on Wednesday. Like you're essentially in the game. Like it's you're here. You're there. You're at your destination.
There are parts of this world that are already there because it's already Wednesday.
Exactly. So it's just like you're there. Like when we get to tomorrow, all you're going to be thinking about is like tomorrow I get to wake up and I get to pack up my bags and I get to go to Kansas City and I get to tailgate and I get to see Husker football play. So you're not 2 days away. You're essentially just a day away.
I don't think that's how that works in your math. I thought you would do 1 plus 1.
Well,
that's what I was looking forward to.
Well, think about it. Once we get to tomorrow, it's like you're 0 days away from waiting again, right? It's just you're just one sleep away. So it's like you're essentially there. That's how you got to manipulate your brain. You got to manipulate your mind in that way.
Kids these days, welcome into Gary and Matt. Jake is in the house. It does on Thursday kick off 5 straight days of football. So football has arrived. I just want to point out to people out there, especially local meteorologists, with kids going back to school, and they always in the morning give the go back to school forecast. Mm-hmm. We live in Big Ten country. May not feel like the Big Ten, but we live in Big Ten country. If it is 72 degrees, that is not jacket weather. It is not jacket weather if it is 72 degrees. So please, Mr. and Mr. Meteorologist on my television in the morning, stop saying that. We live in Big Ten country. 72 degrees. Not jacket weather.
72 degrees is quarter zip weather, baby. We're in full QZ season. I mean, there's nothing. I wear quarter zips. I mean, during the summer, I wear quarter zips in 90 degrees. Yeah. I wear quarter zips in 80 degrees.
Well, if you're becoming a Nebraskan, so you've got the hoodie and shorts look.
Yes.
I mean, people around here, like Vers wears shorts year round. Most people wear shorts. Like I know mailmen that year round they wear shorts, so the conditions don't bother them. But 72. They were going 72 when you send the kiddos to school this morning. Make sure they got a light jacket. I'm like, no. You got to toughen them up. Why make them soft early? This is Big Ten country. We run the ball and we stop the run.
You could do shirts.
We don't play West Coast offense here.
We're not using 4 wide receivers. Yeah. We're not 5 wide. No, I think once you get to 60 is when you get to the appropriate long sleeve. Like you must be wearing long sleeve weather. But I think 72. You still could be wearing a T-shirt. Yeah, it's 72
just
degrees.
Just go outside in a polo. It's absolutely beautiful outside.
It's just a little nippy.
The weather will be beautiful on Thursday night in Kansas City. So you can search out that 1 or 2 Cincinnati fans that will be there. And that if you're a Cincinnati fan and you're at the game and you're not related to somebody that either coaching in the game, administers the game, or plays in the game, what are you doing?
Kudos to you. You're a diehard. You're a true Bearcat fan. I would, if I saw somebody like that who wasn't all of the things that you described, I'd probably shake their hand and say, respect, man. I mean, coming all the way out to Kansas City to see what will probably be 6-6, 7-5 Cincinnati Bearcat team take on a team that's going to have 76,000 out of about 80,000 seats at Arrowhead Stadium. That's impressive. It'd be impressive.
I would love to meet the Cincinnati fan because there will not be many there, of course. But they made the wise decision. They needed some cash.
Yeah.
They got a lot of cash to move this game. They're just going to have to explain to guys that play football why all of a sudden they're wearing the home uniform and there are 80,000 people dressed in the wrong shade of red for Cincinnati. The game is almost sold out.
That's
and
incredible.
It will be. I can't imagine there will be more than 4,000 Cincinnati fans. But I want to meet the Bearcat fan that in a month's time comes back to Kansas City twice.
Oh, sure.
Because Cincinnati plays at KU on the 27th of September. So if you are a diehard, you are going to get to know the fountains, the plaza, and the Power and Light District pretty well.
If I set the over-under at like 800 people, 800 Cincinnati Bearcat fans who would go out there twice, you would take the what?
Under.
Yeah.
I mean, family members will travel. They get to go to nice David Booth, the new David Booth Memorial Stadium, which has got a couple of quirks that it has to work out from its opening weekend.
Are they going to be, I mean, when was the last time a college football team was in home uniforms and needed to use a silent count?
I don't know. Do they use the silent count? I know there's a little bit of an underground push to break the noise record. Oh God, I'm fine. I don't need that. That belongs to us Chief fans, okay?
Whoa,
leave that alone.
Whoa. I mean, if people want to do it, people can do it.
Yeah, you ain't breaking that record.
If it comes naturally,
it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
I know. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it happens naturally. You can't help it. I'm not in favor though of making a push to do it. I like my ears the way my ears are. I wouldn't want to burst an eardrum or anything like that.
Now, do we know if the game ops, like all of the PA, the scoreboard graphics, is it all Cincinnati based? Or will it be neutral? Like, will it have a Chiefs spin to it?
I think it's going to be neutral. I think it'd just all be the Kansas City people who would do it, right?
Well, it's technically a Cincinnati home game.
It's a Cincinnati home game.
Yeah.
But would they bring in all the people from Cincinnati and sit them down?
PA person?
Well, probably like the graphics, I assume, might be more lean towards Cincinnati.
Okay, so that's a great point, Jake.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Like, is Cincinnati bringing their band? Like, will Cincinnati's band perform before the game?
I hope. I mean, that's college football. I mean, it is still a home game. Like, so what Jake is saying, like, I think on third down, on Nebraska third down, it'd be very funny if on the Jumbotron it said, make some noise, or it's third down, or it's like rattling or everything like that.
It's just going to be an odd. It's great that it's being played in that facility, and that's a fun way to kick off the year. And there's going to be so many people they're going to be there that you'll be like, hey, I haven't seen you in like 8 months. How you doing? But it will be a little bit odd because Cincinnati is technically the home team.
Wouldn't it be really funny if they
the end zones say Cincinnati and Nebraska?
No, they'll probably just say Cincinnati. No, if they're the home team, if they're the flat out home team, probably just say Cincinnati. It'd be really funny if they only show the bad Nebraska replays during that game. Like only the ones that are really close that Cincinnati could potentially overturn.
So this little discussion here to kick off a Tuesday show is where we've reached the end of talking season almost, because I found myself yesterday, because there's all like bookmarks that you hit as the season gets closer.
Sure.
You have a carriage dispute. Usually it was CBS and DirecTV. Now we've got Fox and YouTube, which deadlines hasten things. So if you got the email yesterday, your YouTube TV subscriber, you got the email, you probably went, oh boy, here we go again. But when you are debating, if Nebraska wins the coin toss, should they be on offense or defense first? You know that you have reached the end of talking season, and kickoff at 8:00 Thursday night cannot come soon enough.
Can I? So I take notes and I write things all into a doc. One of the things that I wrote into the doc last night was, why are you going to take the football first after the coin toss a question? Why is this something that's being heavily discussed? Literally word for word in my notes right here. I don't know why. I don't know why people. I don't. Have you ever obsessed over what a team does or doesn't do for a coin toss?
Not obsessed.
Okay.
But I am curious on a tone setter. Like, do you want to start and especially like the first game in the season?
Sure.
Do you want to start the year on offense, or do you want to put that newfangled defense out there? I would think I would want the ball to begin the year, but that's just me, and I've never coached Division I football.
I do think that there's probably a right and wrong decision when it comes to whether or not you do it, but I've never gone like a game has hit 0-0 and my team has lost and said, damn it, why didn't they kick the ball off? Or damn it, why didn't they take the ball to begin the game? I've never gotten upset over that or thought that it fully affected the game.
Wouldn't it be a little bit demoralizing if you're Cincinnati, if Nebraska starts on offense first and they have like a 10-play, 75-yard drive that takes about 8 minutes off the clock.
Oh, that'd be
like,
incredible.
They're like, oh, okay. Which is very much a possibility of numerous drives this year because Nebraska's pace will be a little bit slower.
Wouldn't you love, like, okay, you talked at a 10-play, 70-yard drive. Immediately, I think it would be great if 7 of those plays were runs and then you gashed them on one play action pass. Or you did something creative in the pass game that got you down to like the 8-yard line, and then you're able to punch it in on 3 more runs. And that was it. Like that's what I think. If you were to describe like a perfect Big Ten offense, I think that would be probably my consistent answer to you. 10 plays, 75 yards, 7 minutes, and you had 1 explosive pass and about 7 solid runs.
God, we need the season to start. These conversations are just these are why the Nick Baws of the world get out of this business. They're like, I can only do this for so long. It just seems like talking season's been longer this year.
Well,
now
because
the vibe is different, and I appreciate that, and it's a good vibe, but it just seems like the talking part of the lead up to the 25 season has drug on for so long.
I think you called it though in March. Wait.
I was so excited to talk about should they take the ball if they win the coin toss at Arrowhead?
Follow me here though. In March, you are the one who said, guys, this is quiet. Like this is a little bit more quiet. Like they're not talking about players as much. They're not talking about like these specific little things that we all know probably won't matter like come August, but we still have to talk about them. Like we're going to have to create our own stuff. We did it. And now we're at the point where it's like, we're smarter because of it. I do think that we have dug pretty deep into some rabbit holes of like where this team could be strong or weak. But no, I've been waiting for them to actually play a game that I can dissect for about a month and a half now.
There is, for people that are not going to be at the game, and you would be very rare because there's going to be 1.9 million people, according to my sphere, that will be at Arrowhead. I have made a bingo card for you. This actually might happen on the opening drive if it culminates in a touchdown. So you got Mark Jones doing the game.
Okay.
What happens first in a Mark Jones reference? Dylan Raiola and Patrick Mahomes in the same sentence, or year 3 Matt Rule? Because Mark Jones actually may get rid of both of those and then just beat both of those into the ground, like on the opening play. So like if there's a big play, like he'll be like, oh, year 3, and young Patrick Mahomes is doing his thing. So he's slicing and dicing like Benny at the diner when we were in downtown KC today.
His year 3 Matt Rule will be in the open. In the first 2 minutes of the broadcast.
God, the season needs to start.
When they are putting, you know this though, when they put the camera on Matt Rule to begin the pregame, he will bring up something about it being his 3rd year. And everybody knows with Matt Rule in his 3rd year of coaching a program, they always seem to take off. And the Nebraska Cornhusker faithful are hoping that happens this year. And then in the first drive, you'll get the Pat Mahomes reference. In the very first drive.
Well, if you saw the thing on CBS Sports
yes,
with Dylan and his teammates, it was really, really good. We'll discuss that coming up on the show. On the show today, Sam McEwen will stop by, Brian Christopherson, Andy Kendi. It's all part of the lineup brought to you by the Roof Rees at John Higgins Weather Guard. While you may have been sleeping last night, Nebraska handed out 10 Blackshirts, which Nebraska must be pretty confident in just handing out 10. Because I would like to have 11 guys on the field to go against the other 11 offensive guys. But if Nebraska feels good enough about their defense that they're only going to have 10 defensive guys, I think that says a lot. There's a little quiet confidence that we can play a man down all season and be able to be very, very successful. But last night, Nebraska handed out 10 Blackshirts. And it coincides with Matt Rule speaks today, so I'm sure he will talk. Now, if you watch the video, didn't appear that they handed out 11.
No.
Like what he said.
Oh, he said 11.
Yeah.
He said we're going to do it week to week. The 11 starters of that week are going to get it. And then he handed out 10. So maybe it's Shavers who gets.
I think the next one up is Keona Davis.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I mean, there's a couple next ones up. Like you got RVP.
Yeah,
I
that's a discussion point for a guy that got a single-digit number that is expected to anchor the interior of the defensive line and was not at the top line on his position group on the depth chart, but will play a considerable amount and got a single digit, did not get a black shirt.
See, I do think though
a little wake up call.
Well,
that's kind of interesting because he would, if you would have started the year and said, okay, let's just project at the end of camp they're going to hand out 11 black shirts.
Sure. Oh God,
you probably wouldn't even thought twice about Riley Van Poppel, but Van Poppel along with Winery, which is not a surprise because he's one of those guys that probably will earn it. And then Shavers, who I think will earn it as well. I mean, what did John Butler say yesterday? That maybe 11 to 12.
Yeah.
Do it the right way.
He made it very clear that he didn't want if you're in a rotation or if you're getting snaps or we're going to give out 16 black shirts, which, by the way, I love it. I love that they're keeping it tight. I like that they're keeping it an honor, that like it's not something that everybody gets, which is why I kind of dig the whole like RVP not getting one is kind of an indication of, hey, these are two separate honors. These are two separate things. You earn this from your teammates and then you earn this one on the field. I would.
That's kind of scary though.
Okay, so
I mean, you're already wondering about the interior defensive line and the guy that is returning that has the biggest vibe, and you probably know more about. I mean, I think in more limited snaps, I'm more confident with Riley Van Poppel than I'm Elijah Judy, and he doesn't get a black shirt.
So the thing about Judy, though,
that's a good question for Rule today.
I do want to. I do think I'm going to take the stance here of I'm pretty optimistic though about Elijah Judy and what he might have done during the offseason to earn this black shirt and to earn the fact that he's over RVP, because you have to remember now it's year 3 of Elijah Judy with this coaching staff. Okay, he was here in the Frost era is when he first got here, and so he has now been able to develop with the same staff over 3 years, and he's also a guy that Matt Rule has talked about probably more than any defensive player. Probably since March, in terms of you should see his weight, you should see what shape he's in, you should see the work that he's doing, and then he brings up his family and how much he loves them. I mean, they showed a picture yesterday of Matt Rule at his wedding.
Yeah, I mean, there's a cool coach-player connection. Yes. My only thing is, if Nebraska gets the Elijah Judy that played against Iowa at the end of last year, and even in the Pinstripe Bowl. And you get that for 25 to 30 snaps, I think you'd be comfortable with that. But he's played a lot of football, so he's only been here for 2 years, and he has played in every game since he's been here.
Yeah.
And there's probably only 2 that definitely stand out. I mean, he played much better at the end of the year, because I would throw in Wisconsin. I thought he looked better. And maybe it pops in, and he's been here for all 3. He'll be for, as you were mentioning, all 3 years with Matt Rule. But he's not one that I go, okay, I know what I got here.
It's the outlook is very different on the 2 guys that we're talking about, because I think that heading into this year, you could have said, no, Elijah Judy's been here. This is going to be his 4th year here. He's kind of been the same player, since the get-go. How much more does he have to offer? How much better can he actually get? And you look at a guy like RVP, who, man, you saw those flashes his freshman year. You were thinking to yourself, why isn't he playing his sophomore year? And you're like, all right, this is a dude who has all of the makeup and all of the writing on the wall to take a big jump. And all of a sudden he's getting beat out. He got beat out. Straight up, he got beat out by a guy that you weren't nearly as high on, or nearly didn't have as a big of an outlook as to how he was going to perform this year. I think that this is just one of those things where it's like, I think you just got to trust that Judy's just taken the right steps and done everything that he's possibly could to earn the position. We'll see how he plays when he gets to Cincinnati.
I think Judy and Van Poppel are going to play a lot. I mean, and they could be on the field at the same time. So it's not like either or. It's just Riley Van Poppel not being a black shirt was kind of interesting, because I don't think he's the 11th guy. I don't. I think it's Keona Davis. It's
one of those things where it's almost as if I kind of look at it as, maybe I do kind of like the fact that Riley Van Poppel isn't a black shirt, or Riley Van Poppel maybe isn't as high on the depth chart as maybe I anticipated him being, because I think very highly of Riley Van Poppel. And I think Riley Van Poppel, it'd be very hard for me to live in a world where Riley Van Poppel isn't a good defensive lineman, isn't a high impactful player.
That would be an uncomfortable world if you're Nebraska.
It'd be very weird. So I'm actually kind of taking on the optimistic point of view of I just think Keona Davis and Elijah Judy has just made unanticipated strides this offseason that has increased the depth of this defensive line, which that is what they need. More than Riley Van Poppel being a superstar, this Nebraska defensive line just needs 5 guys that are just super solid, that can step in any rotation in any given snap and just give you solid work. That's what they need. And this might be an indication of that.
All right, coming up in an hour, Sam McEwen will stop by with his final thoughts before Nebraska and Cincinnati. Again, Matt Rule speaks later this morning. And that's it. We get to play football. Nebraska is still a 6.5-point favorite. Lots to discuss, including Ohio State in a lose-lose situation on something they did last night. The Ohio State-Michigan rivalry just continues to be a banger with what they did with Fox's pregame show. No Dave in the shoe. It's a lose-lose situation for Ohio State. We'll get into all that as we roll till 10 on a Tuesday edition, 2 days before the start of the college football season around here. It's Gary and Matt. Jake is in this morning on 1620 The Zone.
Redefine your luxury shopping experience at Genesis of Southwest Omaha. Receive 2.99% APR for 60 months or 3.99% APR for 72 months on our 2025 Genesis GV80 3.5 Turbo Prestige models in stock. Plus, enjoy up to $5,000 loyalty or competitive owner bonus with approved credit, tax title license extra, when financed with Genesis Finance. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 8/31/25. See dealer for details.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for the 8-time league champion Omaha Storm Chasers, a proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals since 1969. Tune in for every pitch of the 2025 Storm Chasers season at Warner Park and across the International League with the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
The Storm Chasers host Lehigh Valley tonight. First pitch scheduled for 6:35, and you can hear all the action on your home for Storm Chasers Baseball, 1290 Coil.
the back seat. Check the back seat.
All right, come here.
Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the back seat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back in, Gary and Matt. Tom Osborne, Coach Osborne, is in the news this morning. Not in an interesting way.
Okay.
So USA Today reached out to Coach Osborne, who is 88 years old. Saw him recently. He actually popped in at the Nebraska basketball camp this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, Coach Osborne is everywhere. But Colorado and Georgia Tech play on Friday night, and it is the first time that they have played since they were in the link of the national championship in 1990. And there is a little bit of controversy around that about the coaches poll vote on which swayed Georgia Tech getting the vote, winning that title.
Sure.
So I guess USA Today reached out to Coach Osborne and wanted to know who he voted for. And Coach Osborne said, I voted for Georgia Tech. Because there was a long belief that there was one ballot that was out there.
Okay.
There were 58 ballots. There was a tie. And some have thought that Coach Osborne was the guy that broke the tie.
Oh.
And he voted for Georgia Tech in 1990 over Colorado. The person that at the time that ran the coaches poll said Coach Osborne was not the last. But they reached out to him, not to say, hey, what are your thoughts on the breakdown of Colorado, Georgia Tech? They said, Coach, who'd you vote for in 1990? And he said, I did, in fact, vote for Georgia Tech. And Bill McCartney at the time was outraged. And he made something like, when UPI existed back then, they had AP and UPI. He said, tell them that you can have the coaches vote back again. So Coach Osborne is in the news this morning. So, I'm sure that'll make a lot of people in Colorado happy. Probably would have made a lot of people in Colorado happy if he would have taken the Colorado job when he was offered.
Probably made him very happy. Probably wouldn't have to have disputes over whether or not they won certain national championships. But they then asked him, I like this reporting. They asked him if he did it to spite Colorado, that's just kind of hard-hitting journalism. He goes, I would never do that. He had other reasons, is what they say. This is why this is one of the greatest sports ever, because it's been 35 years since this occurred, and we're still interviewing people who were there for ground zero and when it happened. And we're still trying to find answers as to why this very, in the grand scheme of things, this very arbitrary, they just shared the national title and they both celebrated occurred.
But see, I would be okay if Coach Osborne said, you know what, let me tell you, I've had this thing for Colorado. We played there in 1989 and we got screwed by a pass interference call. So I'm just telling you, I've held that in my heart. That's the one thing I have hold it in my heart of spite. So that's why I voted for Georgia Tech. He may also say, you know what? We just saw Georgia Tech and they kicked our ass. Our team, for one of the rare times that I've been the head coach in Nebraska, quit, which they did. The 1990 team in the Citrus Bowl quit against Georgia Tech. They left Tom Haas out to dry. It was embarrassing. So it's okay if he voted for Georgia Tech.
Would you have loved it if he was like, damn right I did it to spite them? Then of course I did.
Let's go.
Of course,
Coach Osborne, you're 88. Let's pull back the curtains. Let's share some receipts out there.
It's like over my dead body would I vote for Colorado to be the national champion. Georgia Tech was a better team. I don't know what you're talking about.
By the way, when I was on vacation, there was the picture that was shared of practice with Frank, Tom, and George. Oh, be still my heart. That was when you've loved to just sit in the middle of that conversation. Just hit record on your phone of what they were talking about.
I'm a talker. I think we all know that. Probably talk a little bit too much. I will tell you right now, if I was sitting in that chair between those three men, I probably would not say. I would not say a word. There isn't a word I would say or anything that I could add to anything. I would just sit and listen.
It's good to see Coach Solich. They've moved back to Lincoln.
I think that's awesome. I think it's a very cool thing that they were able to mend that. And because he is one of the more important figures of Nebraska football history and this very storied history of this incredible program, it's great that you've been able to mend that bridge.
All right, Sam McEwen's coming up in the next hour. We'll ask Sam about UNLV.
Yeah, but he did it. I do want to defend Sam. A lot of people, first off, that was the first time on college football Twitter that just on national college football Twitter, people were going after somebody I knew, which was wild. To Sam's defense, he did make it very clear, hey, I do these rankings off of my predictions of what is going to happen this year, not necessarily off of what you think. And the 12th team, and he did it the year before, or I don't think he did it the year before, but he did explain, hey, the 12th team, that is the team that in the group of 5 that I think is going to make the college football playoff. I kind of love it.
Among other things that we'll talk to Sam about. But as we have now started, normally at this time, we do the top 3 things that we saw or heard yesterday.
Okay. Number 1, and where's my phone? I have to send you a picture.
Okay.
I was doomed. I was doomed. Whoa. Because I didn't want to send it. You don't have Instagram, unfortunately. Okay?
I do not.
And
I do not. And you know now when you click on links to Instagram, like you're on Outkick or Bro Bible or The Spun.
Yeah.
Like you have to download Instagram. You just can't click on the Instagram link and it just takes you to look at a picture or two. And then the thing about Instagram is when you don't have Instagram, like you scroll down 9 pictures and it makes you sign up for it.
Yes. No. It's same thing.
I don't need Instagram. I don't have Facebook.
Why not?
I don't want Instagram. I have a Facebook page, which was created when I started here.
Okay.
Which actually gives my birthday. So last week or a couple weeks ago, I got a bunch of messages of happy birthday. My birthday's not until the end of November.
Oh, sure.
But on Facebook, that's when the page was created when I started here. And so people are like, happy birthday. And I'm like,
you're like actually work anniversary.
Well, my first year, my first time it happened, I was like, my birthday's not until November. And then I realized that on Facebook, because of when it started, it also, they have it as my birthday. So I think I don't have Facebook or Instagram.
I don't think you're good. As your personality, I think Facebook is lacking for you. I think you would do great on Instagram.
I got about 15 years and I'll be on Facebook.
Well, are you not currently on Facebook? You're not using your Facebook?
No.
You just have it.
I just have it.
Okay.
People will follow me or they will send me things. I will get notifications and I'm like, okay.
Instagram will be the new Facebook in 15 years when it's like we talk about older generation joining it and trying to keep up with people.
I'm just I'm thinking about joining Threads. So
why would you join Threads?
Something different.
I don't know anybody on Threads. I've had multiple people send me TikToks. I've had multiple people send me like different apps. I haven't had one person send me a link to a thread.
There's a couple of people that break down college football that are on Threads. But all right, what am I looking at?
Okay,
here?
So this is
Kid with a Snake.
This is Harrison Rangels. Okay, this is little Harrison.
Made up name.
Nope. He is.
You can't be holding a snake and your last name is Rangels.
No. His last name is his dad's last name who posted the picture. Okay. But his Instagram is Harrison Rangels. Harrison is about 4 years old and he loves animals. Okay. That is his thing. And if you go through the Harrison Rangels Instagram account, every video is him like picking up a sloth or like finding a crab or like, herding. There was a very viral video of him driving a truck and like wrangling cows and sheep and whatnot. This kid is awesome. This kid is absolutely incredible. He might be my favorite thing on Instagram. I spent about half an hour just watching him pick up snakes. And so this video that I took a picture of and I sent it to you is about 1.5 minutes of him yelling at his mother to get a bucket so he can put the snake in the bucket. Okay. He's awesome. So that is one of the best things that I saw yesterday. Second best thing I saw yesterday is Nebraska men's basketball post their back to school pictures and whatnot. And they had all the guys write out the sign. Hi, my name is Kendall. This is what I'm going. My first day of 16th grade. My dream vacation is going to Dubai. I think this Nebraska basketball team is so interesting. Kendall Blue wants to be an astronaut. I'm all for that. That's dope. Jamarcus Lawrence, his favorite movie is Daddy Daycare. that is such a deep Eddie Murphy pull that is absolutely incredible. It is one of the best movies growing up. That was on my VCR.
Mm-hmm.
You just pop that little sucker in there. Veggios. Any know anything about Veggios? No. Okay. And then Connor Culp, his favorite movie being Superbad, is probably one of the. He just looks like a super bad guy. And Rick Mass being a super duper senior is really funny.
Didn't I also see that Jared Garcia, who transferred from Tulsa, wants to be known as Chino? Didn't he wiped out Jared and put in Chino?
I didn't see that, but that is awesome. Chino's a great nickname. That's an incredible nickname. No, but I was a fan. It made them more likable, and I thought it was really funny, and it got a good chuckle out of me, especially Connor Segan. I called him Connor Culp. Jeez. Connor Segan. That's how my I'm all on football right now. Connor Segan saying he wants to vacation to Asheville, Nebraska. Third best thing I saw, John Bullock is
yes,
made an NFL roster.
That's on my list as well. And this is a great story. So John Bullock, undrafted free agent, walk on at Nebraska, who went on to play many, many downs of football when people thought,
yeah.
But if you are a ball knower and you watched him play at Creighton Prep, shout out Junior Jays, you always ask the question, especially if you're doing Thursday and Friday night football in town on TV, you'd always look to your partner and go, why is John Bullock not being recruited by Nebraska? And then the Bullock family tells you that the current regime at Nebraska, when John Bullock was at Prep, said, well, we have these measurables that you have to meet. But if you run a certain 40, then we may have a scholarship in your future. And he bet against himself, got to play with his brother on the same team, goes to Nebraska, walks on, which he should have been given a scholarship from the start. I thought, especially his senior year at Prep, he was one of the best players in the entire state. So he plays, he rides the ups and downs.
Yeah.
People probably still have dreams of a strip against Illinois last year. And he goes to Tampa Bay as an undrafted free agent. Jason Licht, who is a former Husker, former Nebraska Wesleyan lineman, is the GM. May have a little bit of a pull with Nebraska guys. And he makes the 53-man roster. There's a guy that loves football, good dude, just doesn't make a lot of noise, just goes out and plays ball, and now is going to get a chance to be on an NFL roster on opening day as an undrafted rookie. I'm right there with you. Also, I saw yesterday, because volleyball, we're in the volleyball state, Nebraska-Pittsburgh had 717,000 people watch. Nebraska volleyball over the weekend had 9 million impressions on social media. And then last night, the AVCA wrapped up at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls. John Cook made his BTN debut.
How'd he sound?
Got to loosen up a little bit.
Okay.
But he had a great banger of a match. KU and Penn State went 5, and Penn State pulled it out. And then the last one was Texas A&M beat Minnesota. But Stu Pospisil, Stu and I are great friends.
Yes.
He said the other day, 74 Nebraska high school graduates are playing Division I volleyball.
Wow.
74 Nebraska high school graduates are playing Division I volleyball. That is 74 young ladies that are playing Division I volleyball that grew up in this state. Some have stayed in the state to play for the 3D1ers, or they've gone elsewhere. That's a hell of a number.
18 a year. 18 different Nebraska prep volleyball players a year on average end up going to play Division I volleyball. That's crazy. I would love for maybe Lincoln O'Neill or the people who are in that volleyball space to find out, is there even a state that's like, what's closest? I mean, maybe for
a landlocked state to have 74 graduates playing Division I volleyball. I think you're onto something.
I think that'd be a high number.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is kudos. So my side job kind of collided last night with the Storm Chasers. Nick Batters, who is the current radio voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, now in his third year. He was in Columbus over the weekend. He was with the Storm Chasers. They played against the Clippers. And then they said, instead of going back to Omaha, why don't you stop in Chicago? And last night, in a booth that includes the guy that he replaced as the radio voice of the Storm Chasers, Jake Eisenberg, who is one of the primary radio voices of the Kansas City Royals, Nick and Jake were on the call last night for the White Sox and the Royals game. So
That's
kudos to Nick Batters, good dude who I've gotten to know really well. I mean, it was just I texted both of them. I mean, I knew Nick wanted to keep it quiet because he's going to be gone for the next couple of days, so he's trying to find people to do the games. So I knew that he was going to be there, and then they said, hey, can you wait until it's closer to first pitch to announce it? And they did. Storm Chasers gave him his flowers, the Royals as well. So pretty cool last night. Nick Batters and Jake Eisenberg, the last two Omaha Storm Chasers announcers, one previous, one current. Both were in the booth for the Royals-White Sox game, and they'll be there for the next two games, and you can hear it over on 1180. So that was pretty awesome last night.
That's insane. That's awesome. Great for Nick Batters. I had the honor of meeting him at the College World Series. Him and I just sat down in one of those areas and talked for 25 minutes.
Is that when you commandeered Rich Hill?
No, that was the day I commandeered Rich Hill, but that was before I commandeered Rich Hill.
Rich Hill hated his time in Omaha, by the way.
Oh, okay.
He hated his time in Omaha.
Really?
Yep.
Like from a living in the city perspective or being in the Storm Chasers?
I just think being in AAA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He when we talked,
he was cool to his teammates.
Yeah.
I don't think he enjoyed being in Omaha in AAA.
I don't think
so. At least he got a shot to throw a little bit for the Royals.
I can't imagine that you're MLB big leaguer for that long. And by the way, what was he? 45 years old.
Dick Mountain.
And you had probably, I mean, he has taken private jets and private charters and been paid plenty of money and had been given the, high-end treatment for a lot of his career, had played for a couple historical franchises. I can't imagine being in AAA at the twilight of your career is something that you really want to do and that you're going to overly enjoy without being given the promise of hey, eventually you'll come up. And he went up and he played and he actually had a decent outing here or there, but
You still stay in contact with him?
No, I never texted him after that night. I didn't want to be fanboy. It was a cool moment to hang out with a big leaguer. I learned a lot about baseball. I told you the next day, I'm like, if he wanted to, he definitely could be a broadcaster. He's got an incredible amount of knowledge, but I wasn't going to be like the guy hey, Rich, how you doing? It was great meeting you. Want to go golfing? Hey, man, you want to go and get dinner? Hey, man, you want to he's 45. I'm 23. We're not really doing a lot of the same things. He's probably in better shape than I
am. Yeah, he took care of his body.
He did.
Yeah.
He for sure is.
All right. By the way, Storm Chasers open up a series tonight. If you're a fan of the Philadelphia Phillies, their AAA affiliate, the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, are in town.
That's a good one.
They are extremely successful. They do really their merchandise does really, really well. I mean, when you're the Iron Pigs, it should. But they love their baseball in Lehigh Valley, and they're in Omaha for a 6-game series. Jack Caglione, as of right now, is still with the Storm Chasers. So you get a chance to see Kegs. John Rave got sent down when Michael Massey was brought off the IL. So you can go see John Rave out at Warner Park. They only have 2 homestands left. All right, break. Coming up in the next hour, Sam McEwen will stop by. Again, 10 black shirts were handed out. John Butler did it well. I think every alum that is a black shirt alum would say, job well done. We'll get into... I'm wondering if you made a purchase yesterday after you saw something on TV.
I did make a purchase yesterday.
Ooh, I may know what it is.
Okay.
We'll discuss when we return. It's Gary and Matt with Jake on 1620 The Zone. All right, it is Red Out Week on the Zone. You're home for the best Husker coverage. We'll originate this show live from 1620 The Zone House on Thursday and Friday. We'll have a big round table at the Blur tailgate party inside of Kauffman Stadium on Thursday. What are we all on together? 4 to 7?
4 to 7 p.m., baby.
4 to 7. USC will be there beginning at 2, and then all of us will jump on from 4 to 7 to try and find a topic that we have not discussed surrounding Nebraska football in 2025.
I think Cam Lenhart's going to be great. I surrender my time to the senator from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Rascal Flatts is bringing their Life as a Highway tour to Omaha right here in the Big O. They're going to the Chai on January 24th. You can listen all week, 1620 The Zone, for your chance to win your way into the show. For more details, go to our website that's got a lot of juicy nuggets there, 1620thezone.com. And be listening today and tomorrow. USC will be giving away tickets to the Rascal Flatts show. All right, Sam McCune of the World Herald is coming up at the bottom of the hour. Yesterday, after watching QB1 speak in Lincoln,
yes,
did you search out his new glasses, which are a fashion, and purchase them? And if you did not, I bet I could find somebody that did.
Look, when it comes to Dylan Raiola's fashion, it's not something that I've necessarily been in support of. Not in support of, but I've
supportive.
Not in.
He's just different. I don't think we've ever had a quarterback that is kind of like a. I don't know. Is it safe to say that Nebraska has a quarterback that is a pop culture guy?
He's a hype beast. That's what he is. Okay. Jake knows exactly.
He definitely is.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Now, is that now for us olders?
Yes.
Is that a endearing thing?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
So that's a negative connotation towards QB1.
High school energy would kind of what I would say for hype beast. Kind of.
Okay, Jake. All right, top rope, Jake. All right, I like it.
All right.
This is what I meant though about me not being like, okay, support, like who, by the way, who gives a damn what I think about what Dylan Raiola wears or doesn't wear? It doesn't, my opinion on it doesn't matter. Look good, play good, feel good, whatever.
Tell that to the 45-year-old who gets fired up about the Mahomes comparison.
I know.
Stop acting like Mahomes, kid.
I mean, it's just, it is who he is. And it's like, if that's.
When is kickoff? How many hours till kickoff? God.
Here's the thing. He's a hype beast. And what that means is that he likes the trends. If something is trendy, he's going to buy it. He's going to wear it. That's why he wore those pit vipers. That's why he was into the turtlenecks. That's why he wears those chains. It's why he's really into watches and he loves purchasing watches. And when, he talks to people about watches a lot, that's his thing. That's his slant. This fake glasses type deal has been a thing for a while. So much so I have a picture of me in fake glasses.
For fashion purposes?
For fashion purposes. Yes, I have. I've never gone out and worn the fake glasses to the bars or anything, but I knew people who did, and I thought it was funny. So there's a picture of me wearing the fake glasses. I'll tell you right now, I look pretty damn good in them. Okay. I can see why you would buy them and you would put them on and you'd be like, you know what? I look good. I feel good. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to have a good time. Okay?
So I got a text yesterday from somebody who we know well, who was in the media, that was in the room and they saw Dylan on the side and he was wearing glasses. He goes, did you know, does Dylan wear contacts on game day? And I'm like, I have no idea. And they didn't say like he's wearing glasses.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, I have no idea. And they're like, wow, did you know he wears glasses? Maybe he should be wearing goggles. And I'm like, what? What are we doing? And then I had to go back to how many hours till kickoff? Oh my God. And then he stood up and he immediately said, for fashion purposes, just whether he's a hype beast or what did you say? He's a high school.
No,
he gives off high school energy.
Beast.
Okay.
Hype beasts give off high school energy.
I just know that Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, Oregon, Alabama, Michigan, Notre Dame, Oklahoma all have new quarterbacks this year.
Sure.
I don't think we play enough into the fact that Nebraska has a returning quarterback. This is so, I don't know if polarizing is the right word, but it's a discussion thing because Mark Jones is going to kill this. He's going to run this into the ground about mini Mahomes and everything that goes with it. And Dylan addressed it. Again, the CBS Sports, the confidential conversation with his teammates was really, really good.
Yes.
you can tell the guys like each other. And I like that it was an older guy and a younger guy talking. I mean, I think this team gives off we like being around each other. Okay. And, I sometimes wonder, Dylan is a tad bit quirky. Like, how does he ingrain himself with the rest of the team? Because nobody else really is like a fashion guy.
No.
But he's the first quarterback in Nebraska that's been a pop culture fashion guy, and that's perfectly fine. I could care less. I just care that this September, when you throw 9 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions, you don't spend the rest of the year only throwing 4 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions, okay? If you're going to get off to a fast start, how about we continue the fast start? But why? And I know he wants to set his own, okay? And I think there's some things that he actually can do Thursday night to change the narrative, because that game's going to get a large rating. There's going to be a lot of people watching Nebraska, Cincinnati on ESPN. And he's going to be the focal point, okay? Because he is one of the more recognizable players in all of college football. Okay, he wants to have his own path. But is it really wrong to try and mimic some of the stuff that Patrick Mahomes does? I think that's okay. I mean, there's a lot of people when we grow up, man, I want to be like him, and I'm gonna, how many kids grew up wanting to hit like Ken Griffey Jr.? Now, you wouldn't have the same success, but you maybe had the same batting stance. I think it's okay if you want to do that. At some point, you morph out of it and it's your own path, and they don't say, hey, it's a mini Mahomes, that's Dylan Raiola. Yeah. I think this is probably one of those years to have that happen. But another question on this, wasn't this also kind of quiet about the Mahomes Raiola for a long time until like in the last week as we got closer to the game being actually in Kansas City?
I think this is something, though, that has always been propped up by national media. Like, I don't think a lot of local media or fans really point at, oh, Dylan Raiola, Patrick Mahomes, or anything like that. This is a cute little national media obsession that their cash cow or their clicks cow, which is Patrick Mahomes, happens to have an incredibly highly touted college prospect that wears the same number, throws in similar ways, moves in a similar way, is built very similarly, and happens to do the same, basically the same pregame rituals. Like that's they're obsessed with it. That's why
we do have gatekeepers around here about the number. That was quickly debunked. Hey, Wasserman, 15 is Tim Tebow.
Yes. And so that and the haircut too, right? And the whole them being they were literally born basically the similar height and similar build, and they both have massive shoulders. They're both kind of barrely chested. Like
I think it's okay to lean into some of those things, because if you mold your game after a particular person, I mean, you can't deny it. There's like idiosyncrasies on how you run and the little hand motion.
This thing,
it's fine. At the end of the day, this is all I care about. Again, if you're going to get off to a fast start, throw 9 touchdown passes, only 2 interceptions. Don't do 4 and 9 on the back end. And we're good. We're good. And you may not have to be this incredible quarterback this year, because your offensive line and your wide receivers are better. Your numbers are going to be better, and your play will take a step up. But you don't need to be Superman, in my opinion, for this team to be successful. Now, you need to be good, but not like, hey, if he's not an All-American, you all are in trouble.
So,
because he will benefit greatly from an offensive line and wide receiver crew.
Well, and a run game, and not only just having an improved run game with Emmett Johnson, but also having a multiple run game where you use the outside throws as like a arm of the run game as well. I don't think there is anything that you can point to Dylan Raiola this season that would indicate that he's not going to take a step forward. Okay, it's just whether or not it's a massive step forward. Does he go from being, hey, went through some growing pains, showed some flashes, could be pretty good, to, oh, he made a jump way above what we thought. He's a Heisman candidate. He's an All-American candidate. He's one of the 6 best quarterbacks, not in the Big Ten, but in the country. It's just everything has pointed toward him. What else did Nebraska need to do this offseason to guarantee that he would become better?
Yeah. I would like a close game on Thursday night. I think there's some metrics that Nebraska, Cincinnati are closer than you think in some metrics, in some areas.
Sure.
I would actually like to see a close game, because the one question mark is, does he have the clutch genie? Is he a guy that when you need to make a play late in a game to win a game, to go win a game or preserve a win, your quarterback is the reason why you do that. So I'd be okay with the opening game out of the box being a one-score game, and Dillon makes the right plays to either hold off Cincinnati, not give the ball back to Sorsby, or gets himself on the Stu Manji chart of quarterbacks that were trailing and came back and won a football game. There aren't very many of them. I think Noah Vedral is maybe one of the latest gets a positive review on that chart.
So I was going to ask you this question yesterday, and it just never came up. If I were to tell you, all right, Gary, you got one of two options. You get a 31-13 Nebraska win, or you get a 28-24 Nebraska win.
Mm-hmm.
And in that 28-24 win, Dylan Raiola leads them down, touchdown drive, seals the game. What would you rather?
28-24.
Because you just haven't seen.
I would like to see that.
Yeah,
I think that's because you're going to be in close ball games. Half your schedule might be close games this year.
I think that I don't want to be stressed, and Cincinnati is a team that is probably going to finish around 500, maybe a game or two above 500.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a team that people might some people expect this team to make the college football playoff. Okay. I read a CBS article today that was just the entire college football preview. One of those guys had Nebraska as the 11th seed making the college football playoff.
They're a popular, trendy pick.
So you go ahead, if you are going to be that type of team, and if you're going to have that type of hype, which I think you need going into the Michigan game, I'd like you to win 31-13.
Okay. We kind of got that discussion yesterday, is how you look at this season and that particular game. If you think they're a playoff team, they don't win 28-24.
No,
they win by 18. But it's week 1, everybody.
Good point.
Weird things happen. Nebraska's going to face a dual threat quarterback that a lot of guys on this defense haven't seen. A little bit different. Now, it helps that they have the itty bitty cornerbacks with your bigger wide receivers.
Sure.
But it's week 1. It's weird things happen. You're not playing Marshall, okay?
Yeah.
You're not playing Nevada in State College, okay? You're playing in a place that you don't play in normally, against an opponent you don't play normally. Just weird things can happen in game 1. And all you want to do in game 1 is get out healthy and get a victory.
Real quick, before we go to the phone line, you brought it up yesterday. There is going to be an inherent pressure on Nebraska football because of how many fans are at Arrowhead, because it is a home game, because there is so much excitement heading into this season. That, it's great that Nebraska is going to have a home advantage, but at least in the beginning of the game, there is that double-edged sword of, all right, guys, we got to go out and re-perform because all these people came to see us, and we can't let them down.
Here is Jesse on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning, Jay. Great point. Love it. We'll discuss. Thanks for the call.
That's something new we can talk about with Nebraska football.
Is that silence?
Yeah. That'd be, look, we need just plays. I need an all 22. I need a missed block, or I need a really good H-back swing that comes through and hits the linebacker in the valley. That's what I need one of those. That's what we desperately need. We just need tape. We need film. We need to make fun of Mark Jones. That's what we need.
Might be a good game to listen with the sound down, or sync up radio.
I'm going to, for sure, listen to the first drive and the first couple of minutes of Mark Jones, just because I'm just incredibly curious of whether or not those over-unders are going to hit of the Mahomes comparisons and year 3 Matt rules and whatnot. We probably could make a great bingo. When does Dion get brought up? Because Dion's going to get brought up.
Because Colorado, Georgia Tech, the next night's on ESPN, right? So
yes.
They'll have to promo the game. My question for Mark Jones would be, do you think Malik Monk's going to get traded? That's my question as the TV voice of the Sacramento Kings.
Can you imagine if they did pre-game press conferences for the announcers before they announced the game? Hey, Mark, what do you think you're going to see this game? What do you think is important? You've talked to both coaches. Give us your breakdown. And then you're sitting in the back. You're like, you think DeMar and Levine can rekindle what they had in 21 and had the 1 seed for the Bulls? You think that they can get that done, Mark?
My question is, what are we going to do with Malik Monk? Okay, I'm over Kuminga. I don't think he's going to end up, but we're still pursuing Russell Westbrook. Mark, go.
Russell Westbrook still playing basketball?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It looks like Sacramento will be his spot.
Really?
Him and Doug can play together this year because Doug's back.
Isn't Westbrook on the Kings kind of like Ewing on the Magic? Like, it's just kind of sad to see in a way.
Sean says, you guys are overthinking this game like a person that sits and stares at the drive-thru at McDonald's like somehow the menu is going to change.
First off, you don't?
Stare at the menu?
I look at all the items on the menu on the McDonald's menu.
McDonald's is one of those places that, I'm kind of just a Diet Coke person if I'm going to McDonald's.
Oh, you get no food?
Not very often.
You've done an incredible job on and you talked about it yesterday being a year on your weight loss journey.
Matt Rule
so
and
I
Gary
credit
Sharp,
to you.
both on the same workout.
You guys
weight loss program.
You guys both look great, honestly.
Thank you.
No, you
Thank
have.
you.
Seriously.
We're not going to hit our mark of 100 pounds by Labor Day.
No.
We're going to come up about 7 pounds short, I think.
Hell yeah, man.
That's great.
First off,
Hey.
there's no such thing as 7 pounds short.
Hey.
It's 93 pounds. You lost 93 pounds.
Nobody has asked Rule if he's lost. I mean, he has lost weight.
Yeah.
Did he subtly say he was doing his workout plan? But
Yes.
but nobody has asked him like how much weight he has lost because he looks a lot better.
Yes.
I mean, here's the thing about him. I thought last November and even December, even at the bowl game, he looked like a tired man. He looked like what a lot of Nebraska coaches look like when things don't go well. It just sucks the life out of you.
Yeah.
I thought in the month of November and even in December, he looked like a very tired and worn out person. And then you compare that to like this last month where you get more access to him. He looks completely different, like rejuvenated, revitalized. I think a lot of I'm not doing hands-on 24/7 coaching.
Mhm.
I got guys for that. I think has also happened. I don't know. I don't know if you observed that last year. I thought the month of November was rough on him. He looked like, oh boy, you know how Obama aged?
Yes.
In the White House? It's starting to take a toll on Rule. He looks different. So good on him.
I say this half jokingly, but it's almost as if like his hairline has been rejuvenated in a way too. Like we were seriously getting to the point where I'm like, he's losing hair
that's
at
what
a pretty
that's what
rapid
that job
rate.
does to you.
Now, I do think that has to like, not to make this like a full like football take, but I think like, and I saw this yesterday on the CBS, confidential thing where all the guys were sitting down together and like Rule has mentioned it. When you have a player coach team, and it's just the players lead the team and the players lead the culture, I imagine it is so much easier than like getting on your hands and all hands on deck and being like, guys, we got to do this. Guys, we have to buy in. Guys, when you just have a team and it seems like they have a team that they're all just like, no, we want to win. Like we want to do this for each other. I think it makes your life a lot more stress-free.
All right, Sam McEwen's coming up here in a little bit. When we come back, there is major breaking news out of Columbus, Ohio, that we will discuss ahead of Ohio State, Texas, to kick off the college football season at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Should be a standalone game. Play that game Sunday night when we're all at home. Watch that game from the shoe.
No, thank you.
No.
I'll be at a wedding. I actually
get your phone. You can watch it. But there is news from Columbus this morning that is rather significant in the world of the Big Ten. We'll share with you when we come back. It's Gary and Matt with Jake on 1620 The Zone. Your roof is, along with your home, is the most valuable asset. And why trust your roof to somebody you don't know very well? Well, if your roof is still in disarray from storms in the past or recently, or you're looking to sell your home, or your roof is it's hit its limit, there's only one place to turn to get that roof fixed, and that is Moose Roofing. Local contractor here before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm. They've been in this community for nearly 30 years. Why? top-notch reputation, communication, what they do. Example, guys like Sean Michael. You set an inspection, go to their website, mooseroofing.com. Sean Michael will come out. They will inspect your roof. Great photos, videos. They'll work with you. Then they will work with your insurance company. And when the green light is given, boom, they go to work. Communication, top-notch from the beginning to the end. Moose Roofing for your roofing needs, the only place to turn. If you don't believe me, go to their website. There's a lot of customers that have backed up with what I am saying with Pat Moose and his crew. So, need that roof looked at? Need it replaced? Moose Roofing is the place to go. Schedule an inspection today online at mooseroofing.com. By the way, shout out Zane Flores, redshirt freshman at Oklahoma State, is going to be the starting quarterback for the Pokes. So good for him. When he showed up, there were like 1,500 quarterbacks at Oklahoma State. He got injured, got dinged a little bit. Last year, took a medical hardship, hung in there, a little patience and perseverance, and it got rewarded. And Zane is the starting quarterback for Oklahoma State. Now he's in a battle with somebody, but he is going to get the first snap on Saturday for the Cowboys. So congratulations to Zane.
Oh, great for Nebraska preps, man. I mean, this is the trend of just more and more guys who are like committing to Power 5 teams and playing for Power 5 teams. Great for the state.
Big story last night in college football had nothing to do with the Arch and Sayin playing against each other. Keep in mind, a player making his first career start against the number 1 team in the country is 0-18 lifetime. So do what you will with that if you are into that world. But Fox makes their debut with their big pregame show. Both major pregame shows are in Columbus. Fox has Dave Portnoy. Ohio State said, not so fast, my friend. They said Portnoy will not be coming into Ohio Stadium. He has been banned. You already know Ohio State did not like this decision to add him to Fox. Mm-hmm. They don't like Fox because of Fox giving them noon local times. Now there's been some clarification this morning because this took off last night. It's a lose-lose situation for Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Also gave to us one of the best tweets of the month when Connor Stallions tweeted at Dave Portnoy and said, would you like tickets? But so Ross Bjork talked to Ross Dellinger this morning. He is the AD at Ohio State. Bjork said, and you can believe this or not, but this is Bjork telling Ross Dellinger, Fox decided that Portnoy would not be on the main desk of Big Noon Kickoff, and those not on the desk don't normally appear on the field. These are Fox decisions, according to Ross Bjork.
I think it's totally the right decision for Fox not to have Portnoy on the panel. I think that it would completely hijack the show. If you put Dave Portnoy in the middle of the shoe on that panel show, there you will hear nothing but boos. All of the boos will drown out all of the audio, and Portnoy, because he's an entertainer, will make it all about him. And he wouldn't provide anything in terms of football or analysis or anything like that. And all he would do is crap talk the Ohio State fans that are booing.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a smart move by Fox. Now, I am curious, is Dave Portnoy on the panel for future games that Fox does? Is he going to be on the panel for, because I never anticipated that he was going to be on the panel. I thought he was going to do kind of similarly to maybe what the Bear does, not from a gambling standpoint, but where it's just a, hey, quick check-in. We're going to go to Dave Portnoy, or hey, we're going to go to Dave's corner, or we're going to go to Dave's booth, or we're going to go to, Portnoy's area, and we're going to talk to him, and he's going to like be entertaining for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to send it to commercial, and then we'll send it back. Right? He's the funny guy that gives the guys on the panel a break.
How's Urban Meyer taking all this? Because I imagine Urban Meyer's comments last week about Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Now you got a Michigan honk that is on there. If it's I don't think the shtick lasts very long. If it's SEC sucks, Big Ten's great, but Michigan is better than anybody else. I don't know how long that can go on.
Yeah, I think Urban Meyer, though, when he said what he said about, so his comments that you're alluding to is he thought that the NFL should give some punishments to Jim Harbaugh after what happened.
Should be suspended by the NFL,
which is crazy. Okay, it's kind of a crazy statement, and it's a very much a Ohio State versus Michigan statement, in my opinion.
Well, it's happened to Ohio State before.
Yeah,
with Tressel and Terrell Pryor.
Where they went to the NFL and they got suspended in the NFL. Oh, I did not know that. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Anybody, if you commit, if you do whatever in college football, you didn't do anything in the NFL. They're two separate entities. You shouldn't get punished. I think that Urban Meyer probably looks at Dave Portnoy as small potatoes. Like, I think Urban Meyer probably looks at him and be like, dude, I'm a multiple national champion coach that did it with multiple different programs. I'm one of the best college football coaches of all time. Arguably, you're just a fan. You just went there. You're just an alumni. I'm not going to get too heated over what you're yelling and what you're screaming about.
Buckeye Ross writes into the Equitable Bank inbox, Garrett1620thezone.com. He said he's a POS. spreading phony rumors about Day and the family being involved in the Michigan espionage saga. I mean, he's a certified unbiased OSU hater. Why is he even on that broadcast? They're going to carry a lot of Ohio State games. He did go hard after Ryan Day's family.
You and I had this discussion about when he was brought on. I thought it would be great for Fox if he was a Big Ten guy, because I do think that Fox kind of needs a machine behind the Big Ten, a lot like how ESPN has a machine behind the SEC. You did warn me, though. You're like, as long as they can keep him kind of tamed Michigan guy and not crap over the number one entity of Fox, which is Ohio State, they're going to be fine. They haven't played a game yet. They haven't played it. They haven't even done one segment on that show yet. And it's already controversial. And there's already rumors about him being banned and this and that or whatever.
Oh, it's perfect for Portnoy. I mean, it's a lose-lose for Ohio State, because whether you believe what their AD just said, it makes Ohio State look soft. And then it gives attention to Portnoy because Fox bought his audience. They bought his audience to come and follow him on Saturday. And their regular Barstool college football show is actually very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But how does that move over to a more traditional, where the people on the panel have won either Super Bowls or national championships, and all of a sudden they got a honk sitting there just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that's why Urban Meyer, I think Urban Meyer, like, are we going to get a lot of memes of Urban Meyer, like, rolling his eyes at things that are going to happen?
Yes. And also, to Dave Portnoy, I do want to give him credit. It's not like he knows nothing about football. He's been a fan his entire life.
His Barstool, their Barstool separate show, which they also take on the road.
Yeah.
Is it's entertaining, and there is good content on there.
And he's a pretty decent gambler. Like, he knows how to read the lines and do stuff like that. But he's gonna trample on the Bears territory. I don't know if they could do a full, hey, you're just the gambling guy. I think there would be better people for them to hire and them to try and prop up and like could mesh into that. I'll say this though, so this is essentially Barstool aligning themselves with Fox. This is new media, Barstool, connecting themselves with legacy media, essentially with Fox and Fox Sports. If this fails, if they go halfway through the season or a couple weeks into the season and they say, you know what, Dave, we're done. This isn't good for us. This isn't good for you. This isn't what we signed up for. This will be the third time that Barstool tried aligning themselves with more mainstream media partners and failed. They did it with SportsCenter and ESPN a couple years ago with Barstool Van Talk, and that got canceled. They tried doing it with Penn Gambling, and tried becoming like a full-on just national media company. It failed. If this fails again, I think Barstool just needs to recognize that, hey, we are completely separate from what everybody else is, and we can't get into mainstream media because we aren't mainstream media. And if we do become mainstream media, we lose the people that made us, which is why they got out of that Penn situation to begin with.
Barstool won this. This is whatever they won. I mean,
already.
Portnoy has won. I mean, people aren't going, hey, good job, Ohio State. I mean, Portnoy's like, this is what Barstool does. We're in the media. We're talking. There's headlines. There's a little controversy here. It's a lose-lose for Ohio State. It is a win across the board for Barstool and him, because people will be talking about it, and then they're now going to tune in. I mean, you got Corso's last show is going up against this one. They're going to tune in. How are they going to handle this? Is it going to be the elephant in the room? Are they going to mention anything? So it's kind of the Barstool blueprint on how you do these kind of things, and it's a savvy move. But that's what the traditional media and the new media colliding. But you bought his audience for a reason. You have to deal with the consequences, even if that is the Ohio State pushing back, whether that's true or not.
I would wonder if Fox would admit that, hey, this is what we signed up for. Like, this is what we wanted. And I would love to know how ESPN feels about all of this. Are they threatened? Are they threatened that people are now talking about Big Noon Kickoff? Are they threatened that people are? Or do they look at this and do they kind of laugh?
No.
They're like, really?
I don't think he'll make that huge of a difference where it overtakes what Game Day is doing.
Sure.
And Game Day has an hour lead in. And
good point.
I mean, Game Day actually, they at least, even though it is SEC centric, they branch out and they're willing to go to places where they don't have the game.
Sure.
Fox will not do that.
See,
so I think Urban Meyer 2.0, and I've said this many times, I don't think he's as good as he was the first time. It seems like he's buttoned up a little bit more. I liked him a lot before he went to the NFL because he was pretty open. I don't feel that. And while that was all going on, Fox or ESPN adds McAfee and then Saban, and you're like, okay. Well, that guy that's next to Reese Davis on the other side, just push him out. There's the guy that should be suspended as a Michigan man.
Well, McAfee and Saban are by far a better, more polished version of Urban Meyer and Dave Portnoy.
Yeah, Urban Meyer is good. Urban Meyer is good. He's not as good as he was in the past, and I don't know why. And maybe it's because people are like, the stuff you just pulled in the NFL.
Well,
but he's still. I listen to his podcast. He's one of the must listen to guys in college football.
It's curious with Saban. Saban came into that situation with ESPN trying to show more of his personality, trying to build more of his personality. Hey, this is who I am. And you can argue that Meyer came in trying to fix it.
All right, Sam McEwen's coming up next. All right, Red Out Week on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. It's almost here, 2 days away. We welcome in Sam McCune of the World Herald. Good morning.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How are you? We're 2 days away. I said earlier, Sam, I think we're all talked out. There's, thankfully we got Blackshirts we can talk about, but almost every angle has been taken care of. Now we just got to play ball at 8 o'clock on Thursday.
That's right. Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like there's been a lot of good conversation from the coaching staff and the players over the last month or so. But it does feel like, because it's a game that everybody's looking forward to, that we're ready to write about a game and talk about a game versus talking about everything that surrounds the program. They've certainly done a lot of additional media, like podcasts and TV shows and all the things that they've done, and I think that's intriguing. As the game draws close, so I'm guessing they're ready to lock in too and start talking about the performances and the results on the field. They prefer they be good, but whatever they're going to be.
So I know that most of us have watched by now the CBS Sports Confidential Conversations, and I thought it was interesting who they had. They had Sierra Wright, Deshaun Singleton, Hartzog, Buford, and then Dylan and Emmett were all there, about 40 minutes.
Right.
And the whole conversation, I like the fact that they had some young guys along with older guys, but to a man, you get the sense that they expect to win this year. And I know what your projection is. You kind of know what our projection is and everybody else's. Does your optimism for this season, you think, match the optimism that's going on in Lincoln?
Yeah, I think they might have even more.
Yeah.
Based on everything I've heard, and I think that's pretty natural. Every team wants to believe in that stuff as the season transpires. I think the head coach gives them some swagger. I think that's part of it. I think the coordinators do too. I think they're both supremely confident guys. And so, nobody's coming to this party and saying, you know what, guys, we better shut the heck up and not tell anybody anything. Nobody's really saying that. I think everybody's feels pretty good to say what they think is going to happen, and I think they've had a pretty good camp. My sense, just from not only what they've said, but just sort of ear to the ground, it's been a pretty good camp. I think it's been, relatively drama free. I think as with anything, 125 guys, there's going to be things, but I think it's been relatively good. And I think they all feel pretty good about where the program's at. So yeah, optimism is there for sure. And now it's about taking that optimism and that belief and putting it into performance.
What would tell you more about the direction of the program? What result would tell you more about the direction of the program? If Nebraska were to beat Cincinnati by 17 points, or if the offense were to go down the field, score a touchdown to win the game 28-24, what would tell you more?
Probably the first one, because that would probably be the result that they're expecting. Either one is a win, and they'll take either one. But I would say probably the first one, because that at least that sounds like a more complete victory, and it sounds like a game that you might be able to learn more from. Now, all that said, if Dylan's able to rally him late and give people in Arrowhead Stadium a moment, then they'll probably walk away feeling pretty darn good about their quarterback. So, I think either one would be more than sufficient for the fan base and for the team.
Let's talk about instead of Nebraska's quarterback, let's talk about Cincinnati's quarterback, because if Cincinnati got off to kind of a similar Nebraska start last year. They were 5-2, and then the wheels came off, but they were close games. They didn't really ever get blown out. And I know they've had, especially in the back end, I mean, you got to have name tags, because they lost guys to the NFL and they lost their top cornerback to the portal. But Sorsby is back. And I remember watching last year, because it was at night, he runs for 143 yards against Iowa State. And that was a close game in Ames. And I think he's the only FBS quarterback last year that threw for 425 in a game and also ran for 125. Not in the same game, but at least in one of those games. Butler talked about him yesterday. He's a big kid. He's 6'3", 235. He's one of those guys that I think, Sam, you gotta be on the field before the game to see actually how thick he is. What concerns you in the first game of the year where you haven't done a lot of live tackling? Now you face a guy that all of a sudden may ratchet it up with some design runs.
Exactly the thing that you just mentioned: his size, his strength, his toughness, the way that he runs. All those things are going to be the most concerning factors about Sorsby. I think he's got a lot of moxie. He wants to play hard. He can throw the ball too, but his physicality is going to be a challenge. And so when he gets outside the pocket, running the ball on a zone read or anything, Nebraska's going to have to load up and be able to strike a blow, just like John Butler said. I mean, I think that's the way that I think Cincinnati is going to try to win the game, is by using their quarterback in the run and being effective in that arena. And Nebraska's got to slow him down. Now, there's lots of ways you can try to do that, but ultimately you got to hit him and you got to tackle him and you got to slow him down physically. His first couple of runs might be pretty darn impressive. By the third and the fourth quarter, he's not as willing to put his body on the line because he's gotten popped pretty good through the first three quarters.
Kind of on the continuing this talk about the game specifically, you look at the wide receiver room for Cincinnati. They've had to go and they've had to get plenty of transfers. And the only guy returning from last year's team to this year's team in the wide receiver room had 22 receiving yards. Do you think the hope for John Butler and his defense is to make them one-dimensional, to make it, make them only have to rely heavily on the run?
To rely heavily on the run game?
To make Cincinnati one-dimensional.
Yeah, I think if you're going to make them one-dimensional, you're going to take away the run and you're going to force them to throw the ball.
Sure.
So, that's what I would say. So if Cincinnati's able to one-dimensionally run the ball, that's probably not good. So I would say that you want to try to hit them hard in the first quarter and a half, and then I think you want to put them in position to have this quarterback throw to these new receivers. Now, there's always what does Cincinnati want to do? And do they want to throw it to their large receiver from Lindenwood?
Jeff Caldwell.
He's a big guy.
Yes, 6'5".
Yeah, so they want to throw it to him. And they want to try to find a matchup, where he's against a much shorter guy. So, they always have their own plans and their own vision, and there's probably things that they want to get done in this game. I don't think Scott Satterfield's job rides on this game. I do think it rides on the season. So there's things that they want to probably try to get done in the course of the game that are conducive to success. And so I don't know. I'll be curious to see how they want to attack it. I'm sure they want to get downhill and run the football and do all those things, but we'll find out. There's obviously, they have new offensive linemen. There's probably things they want to get done. Maybe they're going to come out and try to throw a quick game again and again and force Nebraska to tackle out on the edges and depopulate the box and then run the ball. You just never quite know what the game plan's going to be. I have a pretty good idea of what Nebraska is going to try to do. And Nebraska is going to be very comfortable throwing quick game and trying to get the box empty so they can run into it, and Matt Rule kind of tipped the hand a little bit there last Friday when I asked him about running the ball, and he's like, well, we're not going to sit there and run into unusual boxes. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's fine. And I think that's great. You think you got quick game that you can get the ball out on the edge and make plays out there, and then do that. And I think they do have the players to be able to do that. But I thought I don't know if he was tipping his hand, but what I was kind of trying to say is, you feel like you can just run the ball downhill at this team. And his counter was, well, if we've got to throw the ball, we can. So I thought that was notable and probably true, but notable. It almost sounded like, hey, if they want to come out here and put 8 guys in the box, we'll throw it outside and we'll make hay.
Hey, do you think we take for granted that Heinrich Harburg is switching to being a full-time tight end? I mean, right. That's just not, you don't snap your fingers and go, hey, you're big enough to play tight end, just go play tight end. How do you think this transition over 12 games is going to work for him?
I think it's going to work well in certain circumstances. So, I think he's gonna have some big plays along the way. I will be curious to see if they feel like he is a short area quickness guy where they throw the ball out to him in the flat and then they ask him to kind of turn up field. They did that with him a little bit last year, and they did that with Sidoni too. That wouldn't be my first choice for him. It would. I think Carter Nelson's pretty good at that. But so I would probably have him as a downfield receiver. But I think Harburg's going to have success. He's a matchup problem for sure. His speed gives him the matchup issue. His size. I think he's got great size. And I think he'll be challenging for opponents. It's not going to be the same every game. He's going to have a game where he goes one catch for 7 yards, and then he has one where he catches 4 for 35. And we'll just have to see how the season unfolds. But I anticipate a nice season for him. Maybe not an elite season, but a nice season.
I think when you're comparing, Sam, the situations that John Butler is in compared to Dana Holgorsen, they're very different and they're both very unique. Looking at their situations and what they've inherited and what is expected of them and what their units have done in the past, who do you think is under more pressure to perform heading into this season, Butler or Holgorsen?
Well, I think, Holgorsen is who he is, and he's the coach he's going to be, and so he's going to apply who he's been for his entire career to this moment. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. He knows what he's doing. And if it doesn't work, then, he'll tweak it and it'll get a little better. But he's a fully formed coach. Once you've been a head coach for that long, I think you are who you are. I think Butler's certainly got an opportunity for his professional stock to rise. I don't know that Nebraska is the final stop for him. I think if he's able to have a couple good years here, he'd absolutely love to go call games in the NFL. I think his expertise and what he's able to call and his relationship with players is such that I think that's the highest level of the sport from a tactical standpoint. And I do think defensive coordinator, there may be a few D coordinators that make more money in college, but in the NFL, you don't have to recruit and you don't have to worry about portal stuff. And so I think Butler's here to do it his way and to put it on tape and to build a winning defense. But it's not going to surprise me if in a couple of years he's like, well, I'm going to take that Broncos job or whatever job it is. So I'd say he has more. He stands to gain more. Of the three, I think the one that's really got to get it done is Eckler. I think their special teams has been really, really not what you want it to be. And so he actually has the biggest area to grow.
You're being very, very kind.
He has the biggest area. He's the one that's got the biggest jump for his unit to make. And there's a lot of moving parts there. And I think he's up for the job, but it's not going to be easy.
Okay. So one thing that and this started once we had media availability in spring, and it has continued through yesterday. Situational football is brought up a lot by coaches and players. And we all know that's a key component, and Nebraska has hit or miss with that. If they're just a smidge better in the red zone, getting off the field on third down, staying on the field on third down, what does that look like?
It probably looks like 8-4, I think, or 9-3. I mean, I think they were certainly the athletic profile of the team is better than it used to be. The physical components of the team are better than it used to be. Now it comes down to execution, and it does come down to execution in certain situations. A field goal made instead of missed. A punt that gets off instead of being blocked. A punt that's downed at the 4 instead of rolling through the end zone of the 20. So I think that's really where it's at. Now you want to make the big jump. You want to get up to 10-2 or 11-1. You're going to have to be more dominant in certain areas. And I don't know. They could be that this year. I could see 10-2. Possible. If they're able to, they'd have to win some close games to get there. But I think they're capable of it. I would say that I would postpone that level of optimism to next year when I think a lot of these guys that are second and third year guys or third and fourth year guys, and I think they're going to be pretty good next year. I really do. I think they're going to have a lot of good football players on that team next season who are very experienced and have been in the rules culture for 4 years, and they'll be tough to stop. I think what they need this year is proof of that, which means I think taking a jump to 8-4, and going to a nice bowl. I don't know if they're going to be in playoff contention, but we'll see.
Have you revealed your record prediction for this season yet, Sam?
Yeah, it's 8-4.
It's 8-4.
Harold
Okay.
puts it out in the college football preview. We've got 8-4 now. Going 8-4 means we have them losing to Michigan and Minnesota, and like I said, I think they can win both those games. I think Penn State is going to be a tough one, and we have them losing to USC too. So we haven't beaten Cincinnati, we haven't beaten Iowa. A lot of that on the Iowa front's me. I just think it's time, and I think they're going to do that. That'll be that. But you could make the argument that the Iowa game is going to be harder than the Michigan game, and I wouldn't question it. So I think we'll see what happens, but 8-4 I think is reasonable. If Raiola gets hurt, that changes everything, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll keep him healthy, and I think he's pretty durable. I think he's a pretty tough kid. And I don't think he's going to get hurt. I think he's going to be healthy.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. If he started 26 straight games to begin his career, for what we've gone through around here, and we can put away that Tanner Lee stat, the last quarterback to start every game before Raiola last year, that would be very impressive. Sam, as always, we appreciate it. It's almost here. We'll see you on Thursday in Kansas City.
All right. Take care, guys.
And so Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald. The thick quarterback.
If you can shut down the pass, if you can lock up some of these transfer wide receivers, stack them in the box. That's the most vanilla, simple caveman football thing I can tell you. Could be a way of winning it. But if Cincinnati starts throwing the ball around the yard, I'd press the panic button. I'd press the panic button in the first quarter if it happened.
I'd take Jeff Caldwell at Nebraska.
The Lindenwood transfer. I'll take
most of the 10 games they played last year. He was the best player on the field, bar none.
I'll take any wide receiver over 6'4". I'm just anytime there's a wideout that's just 6'4" or taller. I just always feel like you can do something with a guy like that.
The Cincinnati defensive backs would feel differently. They would like the itty bitty guys to come and play because they're itty bitty as well.
They are only returning. I have to reread my pick six previews because Brett put that they're returning the third most production on defense in the Big Ten. Yet I just saw a stat that they only have 7 returning starters in total. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe the Big 12 isn't returning that many guys on defense, and that's why they have that stat. But it's a Scott Satterfield said at the Big 12 media days that he thought this was the best team that he's had since he's been there, and I don't think there are a lot of people pushing back on it. It's going to be an interesting game. It'll be interesting.
They lost their top 3 safeties, the NFL, and their top cornerback went to the portal, and now they face a second-year quarterback. Well, kind of like the chances of Nebraska in that element of the game. But that's something we still get to break down between now and kickoff. That's a new angle.
Breaking down. You want to give your 2 optimistic and pessimistic points?
Yeah. Wait till we get to Akron week. And then Houston Christian.
If they lose and we just have to talk about,
no.
Wouldn't Akron and Houston Christian be so much more fun to talk about if Nebraska was coming off of a win as opposed to being in doom and gloom for 3 weeks heading into the Michigan game?
Yeah.
Choose your warrior. All right. Halfway through, a little bit later, Brian Christopherson stops by with his final thoughts. That's coming up at 9 o'clock. It's Gary and Matt with Jake on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in. Hour number 3 of Gary and Matt. Jake is in today, 2 days before the start of college football around here. Apologies to Iowa State, Kansas State, KU. I know you had week 0, but we're week 1ers around here. We're part of the 92 centers in a town where the streetcar will not debut now until the latter half of 2028.
Jeez.
Make all my friends that own businesses in Midtown and downtown really, really happy. But yeah, they had an update yesterday. Not till the latter half of 2028 will the streetcar be rolling through Omaha.
Can I have a minute? Can I get 1 minute on the floor here?
Sure.
Because I had something, a couple instances happened to me something over the weekend. And I'm not blaming everybody, but it's about the drivers in this town. Okay.
All right.
And I just want to just throw a little, let's call them Matt McMaster driving nuggets. Okay. Just so if a couple of people hear this and maybe they can reflect and say, hey, this is me, and be a little bit better and help us all out. Okay. Number 1, not every time that I honk at you or I honk at a car is a bad thing. Okay. There's things called a communicating honk. I can communicate with you via honk. Okay. If I give my honker a little,
the horn,
okay. If I get a little tap, if I just tap it, I give you a beep. I'm just telling you, hey, go ahead and merge. Hey, go ahead and take that space. Or, hey, the light's been green for 2 seconds. No big deal. You know, whenever we're working on your time, just a little, hey, bang, just like, go ahead. Right. If I honk at you, I'm not mad at you. Don't flip me off. Okay. That happened twice. We're two different people. And I was just like, hey, go ahead and merge into this lane that you need to merge into on Dodge because of construction. Or, hey, the light's been green for 3 seconds because you want to go ahead and move. Don't get mad at me. Okay. I'm communicating to you. Secondly, people, we have to speed up when we are merging onto the highway. I cannot say this loud enough. It is dangerous for you. It is dangerous for me. It is dangerous for the cars behind me if you are braking, okay? Because if you're braking, then I don't know what you're doing, and I'm like, hey, are you going or you're not going? I'm giving you a lane. I'm giving you an opportunity. Why are you slowing down? And then you slow down and come in right behind me, and the car that's going 80 miles an hour behind me that doesn't see you braking to merge in, they're going to go and rear end you. Please speed up when merging onto the highway. You should be going the speed limit when you get onto the highway. That's why we have such a long merge, a long runway up into lanes. Thank you. With that traffic report, I'm Matt McMaster.
You haven't been out around Giles and I-80, have you?
No, I haven't. But I've heard there's construction going on over there, right? And it's a mess.
Too much.
Yeah.
Going on for what? How long?
Been going on for a while.
Like a year?
It's
nuts.
I agree. And when I come back from the ballpark, like at 10:30 at night, yeah, it's still backed up.
Crazy.
What?
That's crazy.
And we had a brief little time when I was living in Lincoln, and I would drive through Omaha, coming back from home to go back to college. I'd be like, man, they have their freeway. I call them freeways, torn up all the time. And then you move here, and you're like, yes, they are torn up all the time. And then there was a brief moment where there was no construction on 80, 480, 680, and you're like, oh my God, what is happening? Nature is healing. And then somebody decided, nope, you know what? Let's just tear up every street. Like in my neighborhood, they are repaving.
Yeah.
So yesterday, a main street to get into my house was closed. And I'm like, what do I do? Nobody gave me a heads up.
Isn't it incredible how these things just pop up, though? I feel like they just pop up and then they disappear, and then they pop up again and then they disappear.
But what screwed all of us is that Nebraska is not starting the year at home because any major project is cleaned up. I mean, it's very interesting. All of a sudden, Nebraska gets ready to start the season, and construction on 80 gone. Now they got a couple of extra days because of Nebraska starting on the road.
I do want to say this about this great city. Whole rush hour thing, right? For me growing up, rush hour was about like 4:30 to like 6:30. Okay, that was kind of the people who would leave work a little bit early, the people who would leave work on time, and the people who would leave work a little bit late. 4:30 to 6:30, you're getting some traffic. It's incredible how I feel like rush hour traffic in this city starts at 3 o'clock. It's like 3 p.m. And if you're trying to go west toward Gretna, right? You're going to hit that backup trying to go toward Lincoln. And like, you're going to be in that crawl because everybody has to merge into those lanes.
So you have gone through the construction out there.
Is that Giles?
Yeah. If you're going to Gretna.
Yeah, I have been. Well, when I'm going out to my tea time at Tiburon on Wednesdays, and they're at like, the first time I went, it was at 4:15. And I was like, oh, it's only like 25 minutes away. I can leave. Nope. Took me an hour. Learned my lesson.
All right. Good luck to everybody out there. Maybe take some public transportation. The Orbit is going up and down Dodge. Looks pretty empty today. You can find a ride. If you want to be on the streetcar, you got to wait till 2028. Hopefully we all can make it till then. I just noticed here on ESPN was at the U.S. Open. So Venus Williams at the age of 45 played last night. The story, though, at the U.S. Open is back again, that players are complaining about the smell of weed. I guess it's pretty rank when you're out there playing in Arthur Ashe.
What did you call it?
Weed.
No, rank?
Rank.
Like masked?
No, that's rank.
Rank. I've never heard of rank as in
bad
like
smell. You never heard that phrase?
No, I've heard that phrase before. Yeah,
rank?
it smells,
Rank.
rank.
I've never heard of that before.
Like a rank smell.
But here's the other thing that is another storyline at the U.S. Open, and it should be on your bucket list. I went one time. Great atmosphere, especially if you get to go at night. Now it's expensive. It's very New Yorkish, so there's New York prices, including the $23 Honey Deuce is back. The mixed drink that is so popular that they sold, what, 12 million in them?
Jeez.
$12 million in Honey Deuce drinks last year over 3 weeks. So it's vodka lemonade, and there's a little bit of raspberry liquor. And then there is honeydew that is cut up, honeydew and some lemon that is cut up and placed on the top. Super popular. Everybody's drinking it, so you feel like you got to drink it. $23 for a mixed drink.
Okay. $23 for vodka lemonade?
Well, you get the raspberry in there, and then you get the honeydew and the lemon, and it's at the U.S. Open.
A drop of raspberry liqueur and 3 pieces of honeydew that look like tennis balls is not worth $15. Okay, it's just not. There's no way.
23. That's what it costs.
No, but I'm saying I feel like that's like a vodka lemonade should be $8. All right, that's what I think the stamp. By the way, I bought a straight up.
It's actually free when you get to the Sharp household about 10:35 in the morning.
It'll be free at 1620 the house. I went to a place over here on Dodge actually, and it was a nice little bakery, and it was actually pretty good. Like I enjoyed my little breakfast, but I bought a regular lemonade.
Yeah.
Just a regular old lemonade. It was $6. Okay. Now I guess it was some fancy
I've got you top, but continue.
Blended lemonade or something like that. All right. So that's why it costs so much. But I had 4 sips and we were done. Each sip was $1. What are we doing?
So this is coming to Omaha. We're going to get the whole 7 brew here in Omaha. There are a couple locations are being built right now. In Lincoln, it's extremely popular. Like they took away my Hardee's and Burger King at about 25th and O, and now all of a sudden it is a 7 brew. There's a very popular 7 brew that is on 50. It's about 56th and O. So like lines back up because it's like exotic drinks.
Yes,
and it's super popular. When it opens in Omaha, you will think that a Chick-fil-A opened up for the first time ever in this town. Okay,
that's a good comparison.
Traffic will be backed up, and they're smart. They're placing these in places that have young women and moms who like those kind of things. So when I was in Lincoln recently, I was like, you know what? I know the craze of 7 brew. Because I would also, we're not only getting a 7 brew in this town, I would like a swig as well. Get some dirty soda going in this town. But I looked into it, and it's very expensive to buy a franchise. Homie ain't got that. But I stopped at 7 Energy, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get this craze. So much that I sat in line for 15 minutes.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
For a coffee?
Well, it's not just coffee. So they've got ice, hot, chilled drinks.
Let me look at their
I went
menu.
with the energy drink. It was a little bit later in the afternoon. I was actually coming back from the campus. I say to the young lady that is taking my order, I say, I would like a large ocean breeze. Now, if you are somebody that dabbles with 7 brew, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. And I said, I'd like that sugar-free. She said, sure. $9.
Whoa.
And I went, excuse me? Did you misspeak there? Did I just hear that I ordered a large energy drink that does not include Red Bull, but includes the Seven Brew energy drink? $9? And she said, yeah. And I was like, and so I take out my card and I go, do I hand it to you or do I tap? $9. So I have violated. I'm the person that will not pay for the longest time until I became a shoe head, a sneaker head. I would not pay more than $100 for sneakers. Now, if I pay less than $100, it's because somebody is selling them out of the back of their trunk. I also was never going to pay more than $100 for jeans. Okay.
Oh,
now I got a Kohl's, and Kohl's is running me like $55 for a pair of jeans that I'm going to wear like twice. I have violated every rule in my life by purchasing a $9 energy drink. I'm like, I should probably look at what the medium costs. What, $8? $9. $9. And I'm like, okay.
So if you go to the Seven Brew menu, it says SF next to Ocean Breeze.
Sugar-free.
Oh, I thought that was like market price for a second. I thought that was like a different way of putting it.
You can get it sugar-free. So I actually got it sugar-free. And I'm like,
$9 is crazy.
What if I got it leaded? Would that be like $10.50?
Unleaded. You get the 91 with ethanol. Gets you. Now, funny enough, in the golf league that I'm in with Tiburon Terry, the founder of Scooters is in our league.
Oh.
And so I golfed with the founder of Scooters.
Did he say, hey,
so
I love your radio station. Let me tell you about the College World Series.
No.
He's a really good guy.
So we met each other and very, very nice man. And we talked real quick about our jobs, and we were playing against one another. It was him versus I, right? We get to the 5th hole, and I love Scooters. I think Scooters is a great establishment. I used to get especially when I was in Lincoln, I got it every weekend. And so I waited to the 5th hole to be like, hey man, like, tell me about your industry. Tell me about Scooters. We went on a beautiful 3-hole conversation about just everything that goes on in the Scooters. And he took about a hole to break down the energy drinks they sell there and the whole like negotiations they had to go through with Red Bull. They had Red Bull, then they lost Red Bull, then they got Red Bull back, everything like that. These energy drinks now, it's kind of crazy how we've turned into, we had regular coffee and we turned to fancy ass coffee. Now we have regular energy drinks and we have fancy energy drinks that you can buy at stores. It's such an interesting turn.
Scooters has the Red Bull infusion.
Yes. And those are great. Those are incredible. I'll say this right now. I'm looking at the Seven Brew menu. Whoever does their pictures and like their editing and everything like that, these look like the most delicious desserts I've ever seen.
Oh, I have a limit on my credit card. $9 for an energy drink was a little bit. Now, the drink was fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
would you do it for $7? If it was $7, would you do it?
I'm somebody that regularly pays $4.75 for a large iced tea because I like this place and how they make their iced tea and it's unsweetened. Probably.
I do appreciate that about you. You will go to certain places to get very mundane items. Like you will just go to a McDonald's to get a Diet Coke because you think that they make
the best Diet Coke in the world.
Is it? Are they still doing the whole syrup thing where they do the syrup, or is that how they do it with that McDonald's
canister that it comes in?
Oh,
that is different from anybody else. Yes, the College World Series thing happened. Thank you, Kellyanne. Hey, at the time, I was not a big fan of cold brew, and then it just kind of hits you. And when you're in front of the sponsor and you go, yeah.
How are you not a big fan of cold brew? It's just cold. It's still the same coffee taste. It's pretty similar to coffee. Anything, it's weaker because you have so much ice in it.
To be fair, when that incident happened, I was expecting the caramel one. Oh. And that's the one I like. I was given just the normal one.
Yeah.
And it hit me a little bit different.
Yeah. You're expecting the guy to come into the B gap and he sideswipes you from the A.
I was young and I said, "Ooh, that's not good."
You saw the running back right there, and all of a sudden, just a 235-pound Heinrich Harburg just puts his helmet right into your ear hole. Like, oh, didn't see that brew coming.
That's why I'm just a beer bar guy. I like my $1.75. I like my places on Leavenworth. They're beer bars. That's what Leavenworth is going to last a long time around here. You know what? They might tear it up, and the medical center may take it over. But you know what? We're going to have aldermans, among others. They're gonna stick around. The beer bars are here forever.
There's nothing better than sitting in that seat in True American and just being like, give me a champagne of beer. And how about you just keep giving me the champagne of beers over and over and over and over again? By the way, I went to a beautiful bar on Saturday. Remember when I told you I love a bar with a lot of wood?
You did not, but sure.
No, I've told this to you before.
You love a bar that has a lot of wood?
Like the more wood in the bar.
Like a bunch of dudes?
No, not like a bunch of dudes. Like planks of wood, like burgundy wood, like 2x4, like brown tanned wood.
Okay.
Like in an Irish pub type wood.
Okay.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Continue.
The bar top is wood. All the panels and planks are wood. It's a very homey feel.
Okay. Were you at the Homie Inn?
I was not at the Homie Inn.
Okay.
No, I was at the Underwood, and they were there and talk about a beer bar.
That is a beer bar.
Yep.
That
definitely is a beer bar.
Just straight up beer there, and it had all the TVs I needed for Farmageddon, and that's where Corporate Dan and I watched the first half. It was incredible. But I thought of you because I was like, they only have beer here.
Beer bars. Your generation is killing our beer bars. It's my generation that's keeping the beer bars alive because you know what? Even though we dabble with a little bit of craft beer, we still like our beer. We still like our real beer. Our real beer that was here when our great ancestors started to drink. And they had that first taste and they probably went, but the beer has stayed. I like beer bars.
Your generation has started the type of beer that tastes like oak wood with a hint of orange.
No. We are true Americans. Bud Light, whether whatever. But Shane Gillis single-handedly, I think, is bringing back Bud Light on the PR scale.
Big time.
We like our beer bars. You people, your age, you don't go out anymore because you don't like to spend that money. You stay at home more, and you're doing weed. Okay.
Whoa.
Or you're doing craft beer.
Whoa. So speak for other people of the generation.
Yeah.
Okay. I am the beer bar guy. Also, too, there are too many. I will admit, I am not a part of this group of Gen Z, but there are a lot of Gen Zs who love those fancy cocktail, cash only, $13 martini espresso BS.
Mhm.
Okay.
Nope.
That they're just there for the nice little speakeasy Instagram picture and not to have a brew. But I'm just saying, my generation isn't the one that takes a bite of moss and adds a little bit of lime to it and say, oh my God, the hops on that's incredible.
Hey, my generation is going just to get black coffee. Your generation is going, you know what? Can you throw a bunch of different stuff in there? And no longer is it black. All right. All of a sudden, I just want a black coffee. And the next thing you know, you got so many different things in there. It's not black anymore. That's your generation. Here, I just thought of a thought here when you were speaking about your desire for weed.
I did not. I've never. You're the one who knew rank. What the hell is rank?
It's a smell. It doesn't have to be with weed, but when things you smell. So Happer called the Platte City QT.
Such a good segment.
That guy was like, what the hell?
He was he was serious at first. Like he was it seemed like he was thankful at first. And then when Happer was like, hey, you probably should have more staff people.
Don't you have
mad.
to tell them that you're recording them?
Oh, I have no clue.
In Nebraska, I think so.
Oh, great.
It's state by state?
It is a state by state thing, I'm pretty sure.
Because you can't do it on radio. Like you can't call them live. Like unless you tell them, hey, you're going to be on the air live. Because
I don't know the state laws.
Trouble a long time ago. What he should do now is call the Green Light Dispensary in Rockport and tell them if they know. Because I think, they don't open until 9. I don't know what their hours are. Maybe 9 to 9. They're really going to screw themselves with people coming back from the game on Thursday. Yeah.
Is it fully legal? Like you can smoke a doobie in Kansas?
Well, it's in Missouri.
Oh, in Missouri?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you fully do that? Wow. I did not know that.
Yep.
And you can buy fireworks. Pretty neat.
Yeah. What do people come? That's a great point, Jake. Whole question. What do people come back more with? Fireworks or weed?
Hey, I'm telling you, that exit off of 29 in Rockport, it is on my top 5 list of best things available for you when you get off an exit that is not near a major city.
What, weed?
Well, you've got on one side of the road, and then at the truck stop, they've got Yingling. It's the farthest.
Yeah.
So I've already had this discussion with the guy in there. Okay. Because I reached out to Yingling and I'm like, hey, I moved to Omaha recently. Do you guys? And he's like, nope, we don't come west of the Mississippi. Now that's changed. But that is the furthest north that Yingling has come so far, like in the cans.
Sure.
Like you will find some places that have it on tap, which is like, oh my gosh, it's Christmas. But that's so you can go left, you can go right, and then you're in heaven. And then there's a fireworks stand right there as well.
I never had Yingling until I went to a Notre Dame football game a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I had never tasted it before. And now I will say this. Like Spotted Cow, that's the other beer. Everybody like the other specialty
Wisconsin
beer.
one, yeah,
I like
good.
Spotted Cow.
It's good.
I think it's overrated. I think
you gotta have it on. You gotta have it on tap.
I've never had it on tap.
So
No, I've only
the
had bottle.
cans don't do it justice because once you have it on tap, it tastes different. And also, I've been told drinking it in Wisconsin tastes different.
So
just like drinking like Coors in Colorado tastes different than drinking Coors in Omaha.
Drinking it in Wisconsin definitely does make it taste different. I don't know what it is. You are totally right on that regard. But I think when you first have, and this is kind of how I felt with Yingling, when you have it for the first time, you're like, wow, this is great. This is different.
Mm-hmm.
And you enjoy the difference of it. And then eventually you get to the point where it's like, all right, I'm kind of used to it. Like, it's just a beer at this point. Like, meh, you know? Like I'm like there's nothing special about it anymore.
Wait till we make the push to get Icy Light west of the Mississippi.
What's that?
It's my beer from Chicago or from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Icy Light.
We got Lagunitas here in Nebraska.
Yeah, we need to get them out.
Whoa. You don't like Lagunitas IPA?
No.
We got Goose here too.
We do have Goose.
Love Goose.
Yes.
Not enough old style around though.
Maybe Happer will call that place. That place advertises in Omaha. They have billboards up in Omaha. They're like, hey, 45 minutes away from heaven. And then they're like, whoa, Arrowhead, I thought was a little bit further. All right, we got to take a break. Brian Christopherson's coming up in 30 minutes. I've been told my generation has discovered pot. Green is the new orange.
What, people smoke weed as opposed to going to jail?
I don't think that's what that was implying because someday you might be able to smoke weed and not go to jail.
Someday. It's in a far future.
It may happen sooner than later. You never know.
Hoping.
Maybe today will bring something. Every day does. It's Gary and Matt with Jake on 1620 The Zone.
Fall is just around the corner, and 1620 The Zone is giving you a chance to win a season pass to Nebraska's favorite fall attraction, Vala's Pumpkin Patch. Everybody knows we're right there. We're near the time where the favorite family activity, bring your wife, bring your girlfriend, bring your partner, bring your entire kids, bring them to Vala's Pumpkin Patch, and go to 1620thezone.com. Enter your email, agree to the terms and conditions that apply, and give yourself a shot to not just win one, but 2 free season passes to Vala's Pumpkin Patch.
All right, college football begins a 5-day run beginning on Thursday. Of course, Nebraska and Cincinnati play at 8 o'clock. The game is close to a sellout. Thank you to all those Cincinnati fans that decided not to purchase tickets, so all of Nebraska could purchase tickets for that game. One game that is kind of flying under the radar that in the past.
I was going to guess. I'm sorry. I'm
okay.
sorry for interrupting. I was going to guess.
Okay.
But I don't think it's the one you're going to say. Because you're like, in the past, it's like people make a big deal about it. And I was going to say, is it Tulane Northwestern? But I don't think they've ever.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
I thought we were going to talk Cats football for a second. I got really excited.
Save that for your podcast.
No, I'm fine.
Miami, Notre Dame. So Miami, Notre Dame gets the time slot that I think is the best time slot of the weekend is Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing that game down at the Orange Bowl, or what I still call the Orange Bowl. It's not the original Orange Bowl. It's the new Orange Bowl, where the national championship game, isn't the national championship game for college football in Miami this year?
I believe so.
Super Bowl's in Santa Clara, and the national championship for college football is in Miami. If I told you that Miami and Notre Dame were playing, you'd be kind of geeked out, right?
Yes.
Granted, there's Texas, Ohio State, which is the game. Clemson, LSU is the second game. Feels like people are not talking about Miami, Notre Dame very much. And we lost our mind and made T-shirts back in the day when Notre Dame and Miami were going head-to-head. I love that it gets the Sunday night slot when we're all hanging out by, at the lake house, or you're in the backyard, you're having your cookout. Things have kind of slowed down. You got through the first Saturday of football, and you want one game, and that's a standalone game. I think that's a great spot. Oklahoma used to play in that game all the time.
Yeah.
And now ESPN has said, no. We're going to place games here and on Monday. Just Miami, Notre Dame is kind of just, okay, it's on the slate.
Well,
and it's probably, if you're ranking games, it's in the top 5, but it doesn't seem to get a lot of buzz, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's because it's on Sunday, and it's one of those things where, hey, we're going to have our own day for it. So when we get to that day, we'll get excited, and that'll be the thing that everybody like. It'll be one of those games you'll know that it matters a ton when you're on Twitter during the game, because it's going to be the one thing that everybody's tweeting about, talking about.
That's why I like that time slot. Because everybody is watching the same game.
But let's be honest here. Let's go back and look at the history of Miami versus Notre Dame. Okay, they didn't play for 20 years. Okay, they went 20 years without playing each other once, and then they've played each other 5 times since 2010, and Notre Dame leads that series 5-1. And during that time, like 2012, 2016, 2017, those teams, like those Miami Notre Dame teams, it's not exactly like they were on the top of the world and they were on the top of the heap of college football. Like, they have not had a memorable moment between those two schools in about 35 years.
You mean the Catholics versus the convicts were not just the other day?
No.
Steve Walsh is not playing quarterback.
And also too, I do think that Notre Dame,
Tony Rice,
Notre Dame does kind of, everybody being their rival kind of waters down all of their other rivalries, right? Like Penn State's a rival, Boston College is a rival, Navy is a rival, Clemson's now a rival, USC's a rival. I don't know if you saw, they're playing Michigan State in a home next year. The headline from the CBS Sports ticker was, Notre Dame renews their rivalry with Michigan State. It's just like one of those things, like, how many rivals can you really have? And if they're all your rivals, what am I really invested? It's still great. It's going to be an awesome game.
So if you missed it overnight or late last night, because Nebraska has been practicing at night to get ready for an 8 o'clock game, they announced the Blackshirts. There are 10 of them. The Blackshirts are not for us. It's for them. I used to get all fired up about the quirkiness of how things were handled, and more often than not, you would screw up as a defensive coordinator or a head coach handing out black shirts, and then what the meaning is behind it and who would get it, and then you take it away and all of those kind of things. It was a lot easier to mess up than to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And that point was hit home to me because, they did 10, and John Butler said yesterday, maybe 11 or 12. So there's two guys, Keona Davis, Winery, Van Poppel, that are still out there that could get a black shirt, a McGahee. You don't know what the black shirt means until you talk to somebody that has worn it. I think it's us as fans and as media, we look at it differently from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I will always defer to somebody that has been a black shirt. And Jay Moore, by the way, will start his weekly segment back again next week, or back tomorrow at 8:30. And he's a black shirt. When they tell you what that means and how it's supposed to be handled, I go, yep, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't ever say as a you got a microphone in front of you, go, well, this is how they should do it. Well, no, let me ask Jason. Let me ask Grant. Let me ask Indomitian. Let me ask Jay Foreman, Kenny Wilhite, Mike Brown. How should they handle the black shirts? I actually think this year, and it hasn't really been talked about much, was handled appropriately. I don't think anybody would have you screwed it up, Butler. First time, and now you got guys all over the place that got a black shirt. Come on.
I think it's one of those beautiful things in college football that just some teams do some things because that's what they've always done, and it means a lot to the fans. And this is one of those things. And I know you just said
it's the most recognizable tradition from east to west, north to south in college football that when you talk about Nebraska.
Oh, for sure. And there are college football historians and college football coaches that are legendary who talk about, it was so cool when Nebraska was wearing black on defense. Like we wanted to wear black on defense too. I love that they're keeping it tight, right? I love that it's only 10 guys. I do. Because our traditions, and is it really an honor if so many people earn that honor?
Whoa. You are helping my argument of not expanding the college football playoff.
No, we're talking about something different. We're talking about something different.
No, if you expand it, if it's something smaller and you are part of that fraternity or sorority, I think it makes it more special, and it's harder to do.
Oh, well, you're totally right in that regard. And you are right in the fact that
why can't we just stay at 12 for just a little bit, please?
We should go back to 8. That was the perfect number.
That's
8 was always the perfect number.
I was actually a big fan of 4, but continue.
I was not a big fan of 4.
We usually got 4 right.
Well, except for that one time with Florida State, we got that wrong, and a lot of people got really upset about it. 8 would have been perfect. 8 would have been.
Just bring back split national championships.
No, I don't need Auburn claiming 14 more national championships.
Football was better when 97 was here.
You could probably just end the
1990.
sentence. You could probably just end the sentence that college football was better.
College football was better in the 90s and the 80s. That's what people are saying.
That kind of sucks for me.
Well, what? That's why they got YouTube.
Yeah, but it's not the same. I already know who's going to win. I already know the results. I already know what legendary plays
You watched
happened.
Titanic, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Well,
I'm
not going to spoil the ending for you.
Well, the ship sinks, Gary. Everybody knows.
You never know. In the movie, things happen in a movie. It may not be the same. You never know. I don't want to spoil it for you.
He could have fit on that door. I'm going to say, it was a big door. It was a really big door. I've seen that clip. I've also seen the, I'm flying, Jack. I'm flying.
That movie got me in timeout with a girl I was dating at the time.
Why? Did you try and reenact the scene at the movie theater and she was not into it?
We watched The Notebook and Titanic so many times.
Jeez.
But in the movie theater, when the person falls off the ship and they hit the side of the ship and you hear it, and it's a very emotional time, and she's got tears in her eyes, and I laugh. Oh.
If you look
not smart.
If you look up guy who hit the rudder in Titanic, he has his own Wikipedia page. Like there's a whole page like dedicated to him and like his I guess they gave him a whole backstory and lore and everything like that because he's such an iconically funny character.
Now they could have given me a backstory of what happened post us walking out of the movie theater that night.
The
I think
Notebook.
that was at the Starship 9 downtown.
The Notebook and the Titanic for 2 movies we consistently watch is wild. Did she not enjoy being happy? I mean, those are 2.
She's a woman. Okay, that's enough said.
To be fair, don't have a girlfriend. Don't know a lot about
I actually love the Notebook because I'm, as someone who has lived there briefly, and I love the city, all of the Charleston things.
I watched the Notebook for the very first time hanging
By
out.
yourself?
Nope, trying to hang out with women in college.
I just saw it for the first time 2 weeks ago. My girlfriend made me watch it.
Attaboy, Jake Janasek.
And I didn't cry, but she cried.
Okay. And you were just a nice little pillow for her to cry on?
Pretty much.
Attaboy.
You know it. Yeah.
I know. I don't know you. You just said I know you. I don't know your
Oh.
game.
You know what an awful movie to watch with a your significant other is?
Napoleon Dynamite.
That's my girlfriend's favorite movie, actually.
No. That's a great
That
movie.
is a fantastic film.
The Chaperones.
No. And this happens to be National Dog Day. So you're a big or a small dog fan. Marley and Me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Marley and Me is not a movie to watch with a significant other because it's just, I mean, you're both going to be balling. Now, it could work out in your favor, but I mean, just try it, Jake.
No,
Have you seen Marley and Me?
Oh, yeah. It gets me every time.
Yeah.
I know it's coming, and I still start to tear up.
Have you seen
I
The
hate
Bridge to Terabithia?
No.
Have you seen D-Day? What are we doing?
Well, I'm just saying The Bridge to Terabithia is a very sad Disney movie.
Have you seen Inglourious Bastards? What are we doing here?
You're hiding enemies of the state, aren't you? It's a great. I've only seen the first part of Inglourious Bastards. I haven't seen the full movie.
Mr. Severe throws out Jerome Bettis. Yes. If I wish for the Miami Notre Dame game that they would do one of those old school opens that we used to see all the time for our sports, whether it be the NBA, the NFL, or college football, you know, like the Costas build up to the 94 Orange Bowl. I would love for them to do something like that for the Notre Dame Miami game. And you go, man, I think I know more players that used to play in this rivalry than actually are playing this season.
I for sure know way more. Yeah, no, that's not even a question. I feel like the only broadcast who really does the lead-ins to their broadcast great is Game Day, where they have Reese Davis do like the read-in. It's like, you know, and they're like in an SEC town.
What they do is, but no, that's for Game Day.
Yeah, it's for Game Day.
I'm actually talking a game.
I know. They don't do that at all.
Because they go right to them. Like they're off the set. Boom, you're to kickoff. You don't have much time to set it up. Or when you transition to that 2:30 game. Yeah, we don't do it that. And what they should do, this game should have been on Miami time. Miami Notre Dame plays. It should be on CBS. And before they go to the booth, Mike Francesa and Andrea Joyce should be doing the pregame on CBS.
The only time they do those dramatic real lead-ins is the playoffs. Like I remember, like during the World Series in 2016, like, oh my God, if these walls could talk. Do you remember that lead-in? God, those were so beautiful.
That's why I think NBC getting basketball back will become so popular because that's what they're going to do. I mean, we love nostalgia, especially when it comes to television.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. That's what NBC, that's their proposal of how they're going to handle like their marquee NBA game.
Sure.
Is they're going to have the old school opens. I mean, NFL did it great. I mean, you hear Dick Enberg or Pat Summerall doing this long, like minute and a half open.
Sure.
And then you go to the booth instead of you're on the air, you're in the booth.
Yeah. And here's my partner, Joel Klatt.
All right. Got to take a break. Brian Christopherson's coming up at the top of the hour. We'll get his somewhat final thoughts on Nebraska and Cincinnati for week number 1. Will the game begin on ESPN and will it begin on time? Boise State, South Florida play prior to that.
I feel like the more you say it, the more you're going to talk it into fruition.
You could have a weather delay in Tampa. You could have a really good football game. That's a big game for Boise State to kick off the season. So BC's coming up at the top of the hour on 1620 The Zone.
This week's Zone Deal are Early Bird's HODs. Early Bird is a modern take on your classic diner. Join the flock and experience the best brunch every day at the Early Bird Brunch. Not your everyday brunch every day. 5 different locations in the Omaha metro area. Listen all week to John and Josh from Unsportsmanlike Conduct for your chance to win $50 worth of gift vouchers.
All right, welcome back in. Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 coming up here in a little bit. I want to go back to a conversation we had with Sam McEwen. It's up on the radio replay page. We're talking about tight ends. This is a town of 1 million people. This is a state of 1.9 million people. This is a state where, mamas, we got to start birthing some offensive linemen because we're birthing way too many tight ends. I don't know how you do that because I don't know enough of that science, but maybe at the last moment you shift, and instead of a big offensive lineman,
shift.
Oh, it's a proven fact. Look it up.
No,
look it up.
Not safe for work. I'm on the work Wi-Fi.
Look it up. But in the Kansas State-Iowa State game, we had 4 Nebraska high school products that were playing tight end in that game. 3 at Kansas State and 1 at Iowa State. Nebraska's top 3 tight ends are all Nebraska high school products. But I asked Sam about Harburg because Harburg was talking yesterday or the other day. He said something, and as Sam was talking about the use of Harburg, and I still think that's a big switch. Now he's a good athlete, but we're going from our dream of being a power 4 quarterback to now being a tight end. And hey, you're 6'5", 230, so just go play tight end. It looks like he can make the transition, but this is make it or break it. I mean, if you're thinking about the NFL, this is the year for Nebraska to help you out with a position switch. So I think there's going to be some ups and downs because there's going to be more contact.
Yeah.
Just those kind of things. But as Sam was talking, all I could think about is Fedoni, who we'll see if he makes the Giants roster. Today is cut down day. You got to get to 53. He hasn't been cut.
Let me look at their depth
and I
chart.
think he's like the 3rd or 4th tight end. But Fedoni's thing at times was like trying to, once he would catch a pass, he would be like turning a battleship in a hallway. But Harburg said something that I thought was interesting, kind of on what Sam was saying. Hey, I think this is how they're going to use Harburg. Harburg said, quote, if I can turn the corner and get going, I don't know there's a whole lot of people who can catch me. So is Nebraska, do they have any plays where Harburg is straight line down the field, or is this all little outs that then he has to get his shoulders turned and get upfield? Because I'm in my mind, I'm trying to think of how they're going to use all 3 tight ends, Lindenmeyer, Nelson, and Harburg this season.
See, I think that depends on how much do you trust your perimeter blocking. If you trust your wide receivers to block well on the perimeter, and you can get, whether it be Heinrich going, motioning across the line of scrimmage and then getting himself kind of like a head start going and pop it out to him, and maybe like a makeshift screen, you can do that. Maybe like I said, an out route where you guys got run and go routes, and hey, you're going to hold them. Like, I think if they trust their perimeter blocking, that could be the case. What
do you think his average depth yards will be? Like where he'll catch the football? Because I do believe he'll be a yard after contact, not a huge yak guy.
I think his average average depth of target, I would guess, is 7.
Yeah.
Because I don't
vibe with that.
I don't think he's a streak. I just can't see him running just a streak down the field, positioning himself over the linebacker perfectly in front of the safety, where he's just, Dylan's going to lob it over to him. And maybe that's a play they can pop out, right? Or maybe they just do a pop pass every once in a while.
He's still one of the fastest guys on the roster, correct?
Yes. Oh, but yeah, for sure.
I mean, we saw when he was playing quarterback, the times that he would wiggle and be free, that there was some giddy up to him.
The thing that I love so much about the Harburg conversation is you're adding a 22-mile-an-hour runner who's 6'4", 230 pounds. It doesn't really matter to me whether or not like he's a former tight end or he's a former quarterback making the position switch. You still have a great athlete on the field that if anybody could just figure out a way to scheme him open and get the ball in his hands, it's a guy like Dana Holgerson who's standing on Nebraska sidelines. The fact that opposing teams have to pay attention to that and then say, oh, they got Dane Key, oh, they have Isaiah Hunter, oh, they have the speedster and Ja'Cory Barney, oh, they have a running back in the backfield, and Emmett Johnson, who can be an arm of the passing game. The multiplicity that just the pure athleticism that Heinrich Haarberg adds to the offense is incredibly intriguing to me. And we've talked about this with Fedoni, where sometimes it felt like they were just trying to get Fedoni the ball. They weren't running a play and it just kind of broke up the consistency and maybe the flow of the offense. I wouldn't mind if they did that with Haarberg. I wouldn't mind if they said, hey, we have 2 or 3 plays where like Heinrich is going to get the ball. And the reason why is because then you officially establish, hey, you have to respect this guy. You have to tackle this guy. You got to cover this guy. And it just makes everything so much easier for that offense.
See, I think of the top 3 tight ends, he'll be the one with the fewest catches.
You think he'll get less catches than Carter Nelson?
Yes. I think Carter Nelson is everything they want in a current college football day tight end.
I think you can say the same thing about Nelson too, in terms of the guy is just a super athlete. He's just a mega athlete, and he's really big and he's strong, and he's another guy that you can get in space and you can get.
Yeah, but Carter Nelson is built differently than Haarberg.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that's another guy in the regards of how he's built and how athletic he is, that as a tight end, you add another threat to it. You add another layer of like, damn, we actually have to figure this out. We have to watch this guy if they can get them the ball consistently.
I love Lindenmeyer.
Lindemeyer's great too.
I mean, Lindenmeyer, Nelson, I think they're just 2 top tight ends.
What was it? Where were they on the depth chart? Was it Lindenmeyer, then Nelson, then Haarberg?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that
Luke Lindemeyer's come a long way. I mean, remember, Nebraska had a Sunday guy that now is at Texas A&M, and it opens up for Lindenmeyer to be utilized in a different way than he's ever been really utilized at Nebraska. And I think it'll be a seamless transition.
How much 12?
Then you throw in a hybrid tight end and Nelson. And then you do have Kyle says, use the word gadget. Use a guy that has a unique skill set in Haarberg.
I think, Lindenmeyer, without a doubt, is the best overall complete tight end that they have, from not only just a potential passing perspective, but blocking perspective. Did they run it? I've been trying to find the stat, and you might be better at finding this than I have. I can't find how often they went to 12 personnel last year.
That's your favorite package.
Yeah, I want to know. I just want to know how many times they went to 12.
Why don't you ask today?
Matt Rule?
Coach,
how often do you go to 12?
This is a 2024 question, but 12 personnel, you got a percentage for me?
Should I ask a 12 personnel question to him today? You think he'd like that? I think he'd actually, I don't think he would give me, that's the problem. I don't think he would give me anything. If I asked him, oh, you're going to go to 12 personnel, I think he'd be like, yeah, yes, we are.
Yeah.
Next question.
He might give you the Dana Orr question treatment yesterday, which he handled that like a veteran coach.
Yeah. He might give me the Mickey Joseph laugh at me question answer.
I think you're past that.
I am way past that. I am so past that.
I think maybe your meme will expire this year.
What do you mean? I should have gotten thank you notes from some of the softballs that I served Coach Rule that got him on the Pat McAfee show. The Bill Belichick question?
Whoa, you're taking credit for McAfee finding Rule?
I'm not taking credit, but
I think you were taking credit. Jake, does that sound like taking credit?
I'm not taking credit. I'm not taking credit. But I'm telling you, he got part of the reason he was on McAfee was because he had the Belichick quote of like, he came and he's awesome and I can't believe Bill Belichick's here. Matt McMaster asked him that question.
So you think if you didn't ask him that question,
he would still have been. He still would
never made it to McAfee.
God no, he still would have been on.
I'm trying to help your cause here.
No, because I'm going to say that, and then people are going to think that's a ridiculous statement, and that I'm arrogant and ignorant.
Maybe that's your question today.
Am I arrogant and ignorant?
Just ask Rule that. Just be like, hey, Rule.
I got 2 questions. One, can you assess me? And then go, if it wasn't for me, would you have ever met Pat McAfee?
No, I'd be like, Coach Rule, what's your favorite soup?
He probably would like that question.
He probably would.
Like something Rule would like.
He'd probably go in depth. Well, you ask him about his favorite tacos. I mean, I don't know.
Dude, I don't think we're riffing today. I think we're in a full game week. We're not doing the 50 minutes that we did the other day or however long. He wanted to talk. Like he wanted to talk. I don't think today is a talking day. I think this is a business day. People ask him about the Blackshirts. He'll talk about it. Boom. Game plan. We feel good, healthy, blah, blah, blah. I'm
going to be a little disappointed.
Run to Kansas City. Can't wait. You go, oh. And then, boom, he'll walk off the podium.
I will be a little disappointed if I drive all the way down there for 11 minutes. You think that's what I'm driving down there for?
Oh, I bet you have driven much further for just 11 minutes in your lifetime.
Let's get
Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 will join us next. All right, today is later this afternoon. Every NFL team has to get down to 53, so some will be on IR, some will go to practice squad. Great story yesterday has been Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7. John Bullock, the pride of Creighton Prep, walks on at Nebraska, becomes an immediate important member of the football program on defense, now continues to defy the odds. He has made the Tampa Bay 53-man roster. BC, can you put into words like an undrafted free agent? I mean, it's already tough to walk on at a Power 4 school, but an undrafted free agent to make the 53, kind of what John Bullock has done in his football career.
Yeah, that's the first part. I mean, the second part is when he was at Nebraska, I think he impressed behind the scenes, but he kind of had to bide his time. Like he didn't play a defensive snap for a few years. And then Tony White and that staff got here, and that spring you started to hear a lot about him. And honestly, when he first came up, you're like, well, this is just one of those spring stories we write about in March and April a couple years ago. And by fall, it was like, no, that's not the case here. This is a dude. He's going to play. He's more than just going to play. He's going to start, and he's going to make impact plays. And I think a lot of people have a fondness for one play in particular he had against Colorado, where he took away Shedeur Sanders' first option down on the goal line, led to the Tommy Hill pick. And that was a lot of that was Johnny B making that happen, and probably the play of the season for Nebraska football last year. So it's awesome that he made it. He's just a grinder, and obviously too made a good decision, I think, to come back to Nebraska for one more year when he could have got tired with football, and maybe it would have been a completely different story. So in many ways, there's a lot of interesting chapters, and hopefully we're just in the early pages of the book he's writing.
Gary and I were talking about the tight ends last segment, and we were talking about, is Heinrich Haarberg going to be more of a seam guy, a streak guy, or is he going to be, out route toward the sideline, outside the numbers in terms of the routes that he's running? And immediately what I thought of was, well, you're going to do that, you got to have good perimeter blocking. What is your read on Nebraska's potential to be good on blocking the perimeter? I mean, it seems like that if we're just going off of measurables, Dinky 6'3", 210, Hunter 6'1", 205, Mills is 6', 190. Like, in theory, they should be pretty decent out there, no?
I think they're going to be better at it than they have been, because I don't think Dana Holgersson is going to allow it to shrink. Remember his first press conference, basically, after the first game, he's like, we got big kids out there. Why aren't they doing it? These guys should be better at it than they are. Mm-hmm. And they did get better with the crew they had. And now there's more options. And I know there's a top 4 wide receivers. Everybody knows that. But I do think it's going to be competitive enough at that position that even guys with a track record, that they've got to do the little stuff right, or they know that this is a OC who's not going to be afraid to put someone else in who did it with more passion and more detail on Tuesday of that week. It doesn't really matter what you did before. So I think because of that, there will be a standard that the guys feel like they have to meet to play. And so I do expect it to be better. Honestly, it should be, because for most of the season last year, it was just average at best, and not even that sometimes. It was one of the big flaws of the team. So it has to be better. And as for the tight end, yeah, there's stuff you can do where a guy can pivot and, get a good block and get 10, 15 yards out of it. But I think when you talk about Heinrich and his straightaway speed, that 22 miles an hour that's been coming up, you want to see him catch that ball like a few times on the run with space, and then like have a safety say, do I want to put my life in front of this guy right now or not?
Yeah.
Do I want to fully commit to this? So I'm hoping there's some more cases this year where we can see guys catching it on the run, and it's like, okay, the other side might pay a price here if they're going to make the tackle. And I think that's where Heinrich could really thrive. But it is really interesting. We don't know for sure, because we haven't seen a good run of him at that position yet. I do think people have underestimated how difficult the challenge is he's taking on. And so don't just expect him to come in and, be like the Penn State kid, there's going to be a path where he's going to have to climb, I think, each week, and he'll gain more confidence as he goes. But it does sound like he had a really good camp, and he's put a lot into it. I know that.
So let's talk about a guy that we all are very high on in Riley Van Poppel. He gets a single digit. He is now going to play. I mean, last year was his redshirt year. He stands in front of us a couple of weeks ago and says, this defensive line is going to shock the world. Everybody's like, man, he's going to be a key component. Man, and I've said by the end of his career, if he can be right there where Ty was, man, you're cooking with some peanut oil, and we kind of expect it. But depth chart comes out on Friday, and I know he's going to play, but he's not on the first line. Last night, he's not one of the Blackshirts. What to make of where what kind of camp Riley Van Poppel has had, or any chatter about him? Because also the coaches really haven't talked much about him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't view it as a bad thing necessarily for him as a third-year sophomore to still have a carrot in front of him. Not that he wouldn't anyway, just by natural motivation. But, I mean, that'll drive you when you're at that. That's the biggest thing about the Blackshirts. Like, we can get caught up in how many they give out and all that. It's when those guys first walk on the field wearing those jerseys at a practice for the first time and that week, and guys who aren't in them are like, man, that's freaking cool. Like, I wish I were one of those guys, like in that, and it does motivate guys. And so I also think if you want to look at it from the positive angle, Gary, I mean, I think Judy is a guy who he's one of those stories that a team that's going to be elite or wants to be elite needs to have happen every year, where there's this guy who he's sort of been grinding through his career or in a program. People kind of think he's reached his ceiling or there's no more from him. And then that senior year, that last chance, you just see another level and you're like, I didn't expect that. I didn't think he could give me that kind of performance. And so the fact that Elijah Judy won that top spot, at least going into the opener, and a black shirt, I see that as a good thing, because I did hear enough about RVP, like from guys would bring him up like as one of the 3 or 4 D linemen they'd talk about, that it seemed like his peers really respect Van Poppel and what he can do, obviously with the single digit vote. So hopefully that, inspires him a little bit, and hopefully Judy plays up to that level, knowing that I got a guy right behind me who could, take this jersey away from me in a week or two if I don't perform.
If I could give you the option, Brian, Dylan Raiola has a good year. Not a great year, but he just has a good year. Takes strides, gets better. Or you could have the guarantee that Nebraska special teams would be top 25 in the country. What would you take, and what do you think has a higher impact on wins?
I want Dylan Raiola to have a great year. That's my answer of the two.
Okay.
It's a tough one. You always ask questions where you obviously want both, and that's the point. I get it. So, I mean, special teams, like, can I have special teams be like top 50 maybe?
Sure. No, I mean, you could have that. I give that to you.
Let's go with that.
Okay.
So, like if you can give me that, where I see that improvement, I think I'm a buyer in Mike Eckler like everybody else. I think they're going to turn a big corner. But if I have to pick between those, I think so much rides for this football team for this year and for the future, honestly, on Dylan Raiola tearing it up. Like, I think it's more than just this season. Like, there's guys who have come to this program to play with him. Dane Key, who everybody's talking about, is one of the most valuable guys on that roster, and it's obvious they respect the heck out of him, with him being a captain and, single digit and all this stuff just when he arrived. He came here because of Dylan Raiola. And Isaiah Hunter came here in large part because of that. So you've got this situation that's really nice, where guys want to play for him. it's a quarterback. I mean, I watched of course, I'm a company man and we're connected to CBS. So I watched like the, Camp Confidential program they did last night that was out. And you hear Dylan talk about, like, wouldn't it be something, dudes, if we put up a natty, like what if we put our name up there, what we would be in this town, forever. And I know people chuckle at that. Like, I get it. But that's the sort of like goals he has and the ambition he has and why he came here is to try to lift a program that's been in the muck and be like someone you remember for decades after. I mean, that's what we're in. We're in that kind of storyline, and whether it'll happen or not, I don't know, but it's a fascinating thing. And so if I have to pick between a story with choose between Ryle and something else on being great, I just think so much connects to him being a star, being elite, being that guy who delivers on that drive when they're down 3 points, at some point this fall. So I'll go with that.
Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7, joining us. The old adage, if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one, or you don't have none. Yesterday was a discussion that I thought was really interesting about tackles, because Holgorsen kind of deferred to his offensive line coach, and he doesn't know who's starting, and he spun it into being an advantage. So Nebraska has 5 candidates to play 2 spots, and all of a sudden we heard about rotating guys at tackle. What's your read on how this plays out? And Thursday night may look different a month later in terms of that position. But what's your read on how camp has gone for the 5 candidates to play tackle?
I think they're okay there. I think it'll firm up. Like, there's going to be guys who respond under the lights, and it's just like, don't take them out. They've got a good rhythm with those 5. So it's nice to have backup options available, and rarely have they had it like they do now. I think it's a good thing that Gunnar Gatula and guys who have been in this program have a crack at being, the top guy. And it's not just a deal where someone transferred in and he automatically assumes that position. I think it's good for your locker room that they have what they have working right now, where there is that competition. And, it makes guys who have been in this program believe, like, actually, I am as capable to get it done and do the little things right as this guy who came from another program that's really well known. I think that's really useful to guys. Now, Elijah Pritchett has a very high ceiling. That should not be confused. Like, that is there, and if he can reach it, he could really take off, and he could be your guy. But I like that. I mean, a little bit like Van Poppel. It's like you gotta go get it now. Like, a different storyline there, but you see your name and you're in the or you're third or whatever, and it tells you, like, I do got to get these details right, or I got to do this just a little bit better to put my name on the top line, and hopefully that drives him. And Matt Rule does have a lot of success stories of guys who have had a lot of talent who haven't right away necessarily been the top guy, but there's been motivation, old tactics, and things he's done that have worked really well for that player to eventually reach it and get to the next level. And Pritchett has that next level talent. It's just a matter of, as it's sort of been said publicly, getting those smaller items right.
I think Sierra Wright is a fascinating story to tell, because guy came in pretty late last year, doesn't start the season starting, injuries happen, he comes onto the scene, he proves he belongs. He now rises up to not only being your number 1 corner, but arguably maybe your best player on defense, and he's a captain. You said, I watched that the confidential thing yesterday on CBS, and he was a focal point of that. Did everything that you saw from Sierra Wright kind of confirm, like, okay, his rise makes a lot of sense now?
Yeah, first off, he's got great football traits, but he's also just one of those, like, really savvy, smart kids, right? Like, you can tell immediately when he is asked one question, like, that's a guy who, if you ask him to do something, he's going to process it very quickly and turn it around and then do it on the field. And so, I'm expecting big things from him. I thought one of the big storylines yesterday, not to audible sort of from the question, but was Donnie Jones, Donovan Jones being like viewed as a starter with Sierra and Andrew Marshall. Like, so that's really good from Donovan Jones' perspective that he's in that line of guys, because I think they think a lot of Andrew and Sierra, and the way Sierra just adapted to his new surroundings and became a leader on this team is sort of like the template, like you would want to show a guy who's coming into a new program. Like, This is how you go about it. Because if you remember, Sierra didn't just have it happen for him right away. Like, he was sort of the first month or so, he was like a third or fourth guy at corner. And obviously Tommy had some injury stuff and that sort of went a different direction. And so he went in, but he made the most of his opportunity. And I think he's just walking tall now. You can kind of see that confidence about him, but we'll see now. Here's where the rubber meets the road. You're going against the Cincinnati team on Thursday that put a lot into it. And John Butler talked about this yesterday. They revamped that wide receiver room. They've got guys with who can burn, and they're going to try to take the top off of defense. And so John Butler said yesterday, like, you got to see early on, can my guys run with them? And then you have to adjust to that. So that's going to be a big thing for that secondary. They've got the experience and all that, but got to show the speed too, and show that they can hang with those guys and not have the top fall off on a few occasions.
High scoring or low scoring game Thursday night?
I picked 31-20 earlier, and I feel like I sold it low, but I'm already committed to the score, so I'd go higher than that maybe. But it's one of those deals where I already put it in print somewhere, and so you're like, that's my score, and I'm going to stick to it. I can't budge, so I think a little higher than that actually. I don't know. I think this offense of Nebraska is confident, and I know they're going to have to deal with Corleone. Then we'll see how the interior responds to that. There's some interesting pieces in the Bearcats secondary that they've added. Got Rodney Harrison's son is on that roster, and there's guys that McDoom's a really good player, but it has been sort of a sore spot for them in pass defense, and I do think there are going to be opportunities for this receiver crew to show, yes, Nebraska has truly elevated at this position. And this is also a good test for Dylan to just show, pre-snap and all that stuff, how much better is he seeing it in year two? Because as Matt Rule said this week, it's a defense that is going to force a quarterback to be mature, and not all, you got to take what's there and keep going with what Dana Holgerson has preached all off season is routine plays routinely, and those are going to become explosives, and we'll see if they can do that with the heat lamp on.
Fantastic stuff. We're there. BC, we appreciate it. Next time we talk, we'll be breaking down a game and getting ready for the Zips. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
It's Brian Christopherson of Husker 24/7. Hey, thank you, Jeremiah Charles, for not being very good.
Is that because that allowed Sierra Wright to get on the field?
No, it allowed my guy, because I love him at cornerback, Donovan Jones, to move back to cornerback. There was no room for him at cornerback. Hey, thank you for the backups at cornerback not being very good in the first 7 to 10 days of camp, because Nebraska realized you have Donovan Jones trying to play safety, which he could, but I didn't think he was as comfortable there. Now they're like, we got to get him back at cornerback where that's his spot, and we've already seen him play in a big game, Pinstripe Bowl. He got to move back to cornerback.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for guys not being very good at cornerback at the beginning of camp.
Do they think that how many, we know they'll probably play, what do we want to say? 7 defensive linemen in a game? 8?
Across the board?
Yeah.
7 sounds about right.
7, 8? What do you think about? I'd say for sure 7, right? Lenhart, Van Poppel, Davis, Winery.
Let's just say 5 to be safe.
Judy. Those are the 5. Those are for sure 5. Now I got to look at the roster.
See, the thing about the defensive line is in about 2 weeks, in about 2 week time, it is kind of flipped, because I think if they put out a depth chart 2 weeks ago, RVP and Davis would be your top 2, and then Lenhart, Judy, Winery.
So Petrock will play. So that's the 6th.
5 for sure.
5 for sure, maybe Petrock. Okay. DBs. We think probably the same number, 6 or 7, like rotate in, or do you think they'll stick with their 5 because their 5 are experienced and they really like their 5?
Like, how do you just play 5 DBs?
Yeah, and you just kind of go with those 5, because we've seen them mix it up in the last 2 years.
I think they will play 9.
You think they'll play
9 defensive backs?
Okay, so including Donovan Jones, Caleb Benning, Khan,
Rex Guthrie.
Really interesting. I really thought
Jeremiah Charles will find us. It's either Jeremiah Charles or Amari Sanders will play at the field cornerback behind Sierra Wright.
Man, it is for sure. I thought it would be 7. It's for sure 5 and probably 6 with the D line.
Because I think at the nickel, Hartzog and Khan will play quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then, the one thing at Rover is Rex Guthrie has to be good. Now, it was interesting that Rule referred to him as a safety, but he's going to be playing a little bit of Rover. You don't have, Derek Branch is probably also in that mix, but you don't have a lot of experience at the position behind Singleton.
That's becoming
keep him healthy.
That's becoming a line that Rule has said now a couple of times, where this guy could be a starter, this guy could be a high caliber impact player if he starts believing that he is.
Yeah, I mean, the young kids, that's probably a fair assessment.
I would just love more of a little bit more of like an in-depth of like, what does that fully mean? And like, what is the lion that they have to slay? Like, why is that holding them back? Essentially,
there's your question for today. Ask that question.
Okay.
Next to your McAfee question.
No, not next to my McAfee question. It'll be next to, hey, am I an ass?
That'd be very awkward.
Am I ignorant or arrogant?
Are you looking to just go viral?
No, God, no. Absolutely not. I don't want to be like one of those Patriot reporters that gets trampled on by Mike Vrabel every other day.
All right, we'll take a break, come back. Crossover's coming up in about 30 minutes. Don't forget, Thursday and Friday we'll be at the 1620 The Zone house, where we'll share the address. Hope everybody can stop by.
Grab a couple Millers.
Oh, we're drinking. Morning drinking.
I'm kidding. Not day drinking. I'm bringing a 6-pack. We'll have a beer before like on Thursday or on Wednesday night. Do a little cheers.
Yeah.
To the season beginning.
Will we?
I would like to.
I think somebody's getting murdered in this house.
I don't like it when you say that.
I think there's just going to be combustible.
I'm going to be off in a corner. I'm just going to be nice and quiet. I'm not going to cause any problem.
I think the Avery Johnson family will make an appearance at the 1620 The Zone house.
Should just have boxing matches. Just have a King of the Ring.
Us older guys will sit out. Bishop and I will be the commentators.
It'll just be Happer. Just me versus Happer versus Peterson, which I would wipe the floor with.
Ooh, we got a crossover topic. We're back with more after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, this is the last day. So get to 1620thezone.com. Our kind of like NIL sweepstakes, $5,000. You can feel like a true MVP. Think you've got what it takes to cash in like the pros. We are giving you here at the Zone a chance to score big in the kind of like NIL $5,000 sweepstakes. Get ready to live like a legend, even if your highlight reel is mostly backyard barbecues and Monday morning meetings. One winner. Again, this is the last day. You're going to get $5,000. Don't have to put on pads. Don't have to go through two-a-days. Just cold, hard cash.
Hell yeah.
I go, homie. That's the last day. Go to 1620thezone.com.
When was the last time you played backyard football?
I played in a turkey bowl about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. I played not necessarily backyard football, but one of the last major snowstorms, I organized a football game down at Memorial Park.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
probably
incredible.
Probably not for the olds that were in that game that could not walk the next morning or they smelled like Ben Gay.
My high school does an alumni fully padded Thanksgiving football game.
Fully padded?
Fully padded.
Oh, that seems dangerous.
You have a bunch of 34-year-olds who strap up once a year to play at Legends Field at Notre Dame College Prep on Thanksgiving.
How many waivers do you have to sign?
A lot of waivers. There's a lot of waivers, and there are multiple injuries a year that people like just walk away with. It's crazy. Have you seen you're not on Instagram? There's like 37U football. There's like these middle-aged men who are like 40s, 30s who are like actively playing fully tackle football.
Isn't that the UFL?
No. These guys have like they're actually have insurance jobs. They're like post UFL. Like the UFL is like before you get your job as an actuary. This is after you get your job as an actuary.
I don't think we have that in Omaha. Like the flag football adult leagues, like some former Huskers will sneak into these games.
That's
like
funny.
Are pretty intense. I don't think we have that in Omaha.
A tackle league? You don't want? Why would you? I mean, that's just
imagine the insurance.
Well, I don't think Brian Health would be very happy. The UNMC would be very happy about a 37U football league. It'd be wild.
Speaking of a little bit younger football, I was looking at the week 1 high school football schedule. So West Side and North are playing almost simultaneously as the Nebraska-Cincinnati game. By the way, that's the TV game over on C-Dub. Papillion La Vista, Papio South, which they open every year against each other. Gretna's at Elkhorn. Ashland Greenwood is at DC West. That's a sneaky good game. Council Bluffs St. Albert go to try Center Neola. Shout out Kerry Corcoran. Central and Bell West play, which did that game last year to begin the year.
Mm-hmm.
How about less flags this year? All right. We had like Central got penalized like 26 times in that game.
God. Is that an exaggeration?
That's a typical Central game. Bennington and Waverly is another game. That's a great opening week schedule for high school football around here. BC brought up something that I wanted to check because I think he subtly made a really interesting point about offensive linemen. Nebraska's starting offensive lineman last year in game 1, Justin Evans, Bryce Benhart, Mazuka. Remember Micah?
Yeah, who can forget him?
Why does Nebraska have trouble paying offensive linemen and then they give you a return on investment?
Well, Ben Scott was pretty damn good.
But he didn't cost him very much.
That's a good point.
But Ben Scott and then Turner Corcoran. So last year, when Nebraska had their first snap of the season, they had 2 guys that were not homegrown.
Oh.
This year, they will have 1. I'm a big proponent of high school linemen. Recruit them, develop them. If you need to fill a spot, you go get a Spindler. But Nebraska will begin with 4 homegrown offensive linemen starting. Just a little nugget.
I think
like my nuggets.
I love your nuggets, and I think you can kind of go back and look at how.
Why'd you smile, Jake?
Nothing.
Okay.
I think you can kind of go back and look at how Donovan Raiola and Matt Rule, how they have built this offensive line from year to year. I think that has kind of been the strategy of, okay, we're going to go to the portal and we're going to try and plug holes and like put a serviceable O-line out there. But if it's up to us, and they've talked about this process, right? You get them in as freshmen, you redshirt them, then they become backups, then they become starters. Look at the 2 deep.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody on that 2 deep is a homegrown Chaychek, Sam Sledge, Grant Bricks. Like, those guys are, even Turner Corcoran, he's a little bit older. He's not as young as those guys. But the point being, like, this is now going to be the pipeline for that they've wanted to build, for a while. Now, I will say this, though. You can go back and you can look at the best offensive lines over the last couple of years in college football. Go back to Michigan's national championship game. You can go back to Texas's offensive line last year. You can go to Utah's offensive line this year. Those offensive lines are still taking transfer portal targets. They're still taking guys in the portal. And so I'm never going to say, like, I'm not going to tell Oregon, hey, don't take Isaiah World and just build your offensive line completely through high school.
Don't take him because there's a school in the same conference in the Midwest that would really like him.
Exactly. Like you're never going to tell, like, there's nothing wrong with going out and getting a transfer portal offensive lineman because that's what the best teams are still doing. But yeah, I would love it every year because you're essentially, when you build through, and this is what we're going to get to, right? With the entirety of this roster, when you're able to build a position group fully from high school guys, right? You open yourself up more in the paycheck department for going out and filling other needs with other portals, right? Because those high school guys, in theory, should be, some of them at least, should be a little bit lower costing than these transfer portal, these already made guys should be costing. So I think that's important too from a financial perspective.
All right, so Gatula and Prohaska are your two tackles, and then Spindler, Evans, Lutovsky. Would you like to take a gander at the first starting offensive line, the first snap in the Matt Rule era, who the 5 starting offensive linemen were against Minnesota?
Oh, Lord.
I'm looking here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 guys that started in Matt Rule's first game at Minnesota in 23 are still here.
Okay. Ben Scott was the center.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan Piper was a guard.
Yep.
Newely was a guard. And then what? Ben Hart and Corcoran were the tackles?
Yep. That was the starting 5 opening game. So only 6 guys that started, that took the first snap in the Matt Rule era, are still here. You know who the starting? Well, so Nebraska had 2 tight ends on the field.
Okay.
Actually, so I'm just going off the game report.
Sure.
It lists Nebraska starting the game with 3 tight ends and no wide receivers. So Fedoni, Lindenmeyer, and Borkacher.
That's funny.
Or Bo Richter.
Did
Nebraska really start with 3 tight ends?
Was that their first snap of the game?
So this is the starting lineup, like the
no,
first
they
snap.
didn't they do, because they were backed up on their like 7-yard line, weren't they? And then it was like that Jeff Sims long run that cashed the over, by the way, on Jeff Sims over on rushing yards.
Yes.
Right away on like the second play of the game.
Yeah.
They what was that wide receiving core? Billy Kemp, Marcus Washington, Malachi Coleman, Jalen Lloyd, Jaden Doss. Is that someone? Oh, Isaiah was like Garcia Cascaneda also listed on there too?
Bonner was involved in the mix.
Yeah. Was that before he became a fullback and then went back to wideout?
Yeah, they're still trying to figure it out. Alex Bullock.
Oh, Bullock.
Looking through the participation chart. Kai Wallen. I see Kai Wallen is either starting or is an or at Oregon State.
Good for Kai Wallen. Have we heard anything about Maverick Noonan? And if like he's doing better from injury or anything like that? Or
he's healthy.
He's healthy?
No.
We just haven't heard anything about him?
He's healthy.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that crop of pass rushers to think about in 2023, Wallen, and then Williams came on later in that year. And then you had Butler. Was MJ Sherman on that team in 2023?
You had Blaze Gunnerson.
Yes. I do remember. I remember when Blaze Gunnerson walked into the North Concourse, could do a presser, and everybody was like, oh my God, this guy he looked like Megatron. Was Jacob Hood the second guard on the 2 deep for that season?
He didn't play in that game. If
No,
you're wondering.
he didn't. He didn't play in that game. But remember when we got really excited about it?
No, he didn't.
People did. Some people really did when he transferred.
You know what? You got excited because you saw what school he was coming from.
Exactly. No, that was the era of the portal where it's
And
like
you-
we just
you-
want all the guys who can't play on the great teams.
You looked at him and you went, there's a reason why Georgia did not put up a fight.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, million. But that was what I was saying is that there were a lot of people excited because that was the era of like, you remember we got what was his name? Sincere Safiola from Florida. And it's like you got those 3 Florida guys, Ortiz, Borders, and was it Safiola or was it a different? Oh, Collier. Was it Corey Collier?
Corey Collier.
Corey Collier. Safiola was from IMG.
I thought Corey Collier would pop here. He just never did. That's why I stopped looking at where guys come from.
Sure.
Like, because you probably didn't get excited about Andrew Marshall.
No.
Right. The guy's a musclehead, which is a good thing. And he's a really good football player, regardless of where he was. Looked at the guy, I stopped looking at it and say, hey, where'd he come from? Georgia Southern.
Well, God, I just totally forgot his name. Nebraska does. Justin Rhett. He came from Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the SEC transfers of the past who did not affect the team in the way that you thought they would have definitely cooled on the Justin Rhett's like, oh, he was from Florida or from Georgia. It's not like, oh my God, he's from Georgia. That's how it was. They had those 2 trios of guys. Was it in different?
Here's where
from the SEC.
Here's where you should have learned your lesson. All right. Trust your eyes, not watching football, not reading where they're from. There's one player that should have changed everybody's opinion.
Mathis?
No, O'Shawn Mathis.
He was pretty good at the end. He was pretty good at the end. He got drafted for a reason. He wasn't what you expected him to be, but he got pretty good at the end.
Tyreek Johnson.
Tyreek Johnson.
5-star, went to Ohio State, couldn't make it to Ohio State.
Oh, yes.
Transferred to Nebraska.
He was in a Pick 6 preview in like 2023.
He was also in, I think, a viral video crushing Nebraska. I think he took some shots at Nebraska.
Wasn't Lynham too?
Man, he about drove Travis Fisher into retirement.
That was 2022 though. I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, he showed up here in 21.
Taman Lynham.
Mm-hmm.
Was he a transfer?
Yes.
He was from Bama, right?
No, where was he?
No, he wasn't. He was from Florida.
Okay.
He went, yeah.
He, by the way, played in the opening game on special teams against Minnesota.
Oh, did he?
Yes,
okay.
he did.
Tommy Hill, he was from Bama.
Arizona State.
Damn it. Why am I'm getting all these little details wrong.
All right. When we come back, I'll give you some details to wrap up the show. If you're dabbling on the weekend of college football, which is now 2 days away to Thursday, which starts 5 days of college football. And then we have a couple of days off. And then we have NFL and college football colliding.
Look at you doing boy math. That's what you just did. You just did 1 day plus another days plus other days plus other days. That's what you did. You just did it. You just did it.
No, I just did simple math.
Come to the dark side. Yes, Gary. Good,
We're back with
good.
more of Gary and Matt after this on 1620 The Zone.
Do it.
And Red Out Week on 1620 The Zone is presented by Union Bank and Trust. Feel good about where you bank. Member FDIC. Go to Union Bank and Trust today and get a free sucker. Open a checking account, and maybe they give you a boat or a TV or a car or something. But I bet if you go there, they've got suckers. They've got a little.
You mean lollipops?
Little suckers right there.
Hey, you know you're
the checkout.
Oh, I have two things for you here. I have two things for you here. First off, you're crazy because we were talking about past SEC transfers that played at Nebraska, and I brought up Stephon Wynn Jr. And you go, he had one game where he had like all his tackles in 1 year. He had 22 total tackles in 2022. He had 9 of them against, you want to guess who?
A bad team.
Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
And that debacle was his best game, 9. So then he had 13 tackles for 11 games. I also have one more thing for you. You don't know about this. This is actually gonna be quite the surprise. So you have your Twitter account. You have 30,000 followers, which I found out today.
Pretty weird.
Pretty impressive number.
Stalker.
Well, the reason why I looked was because I was trying to confirm something. That is what I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
You have a pretty well-known pinned tweet of a guy, a Nebraska fan,
yes,
who has a sign that makes fun of Desmond Howard.
So it was during COVID.
Yes.
And it was on game day. Yes.
So funny enough, I'm very good friends with that guy's brother. I'm best friends with that guy's brother. And when we first started working together, I found out Luke is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Luke was on your Twitter account. And
Luke was not of age when that happened in 2020.
Luke is now of age, and Luke has moved to Omaha. Okay. He is now in the metro. I got a text yesterday from the family saying, we see the tweet. We love the tweet. Gary Sharp owes Luke a beer.
All right. Now
so
that he's
Luke,
of age.
Luke wants to cash in on his beer. So we're going to make it come true.
All right.
We're going to put it all together.
I hope he still has the sign.
Oh, I can text him. I can ask him.
All right. Let me give you a little thing here as we finish the show. So quickly through some props. Nebraska is still a 6.5-point favorite.
I'm telling you, that line's
the total for Dillon's passing yards, 247.5. Sorsby's is 208.5. They have Emmett Johnson's rushing yards at 70.5. This is up on FanDuel, by the way. Leading wide receiver for Nebraska that has the best odds, Dane Key at 53.5.
I don't want to touch the Raiola over on passing yards. Let me see here. Let me go to his game stats. I think 247, I feel like you're flirting. I would definitely take Emmett Johnson over 70. I'd for sure take that. And Dane Key 53.5 is what you said. I would do that. Okay. Dylan Raiola had over 247 passing yards twice last season against Illinois and against Purdue. Against everybody else, his next highest mark was exactly at 247 against Northern Iowa.
Yeah, they build big casinos and big buildings in Vegas for a reason. Now let me give you something else as you dabble out into the world here about opening week.
3 times, by the way, my bad. Misspoke.
Huge favorites, 37.5 or more. You don't like big lines?
Hate them.
I like big lines, and I cannot lie. I bet them like I do all the time. So here's what happens. Opening week of college football since 2013, I'm going big lines. Straight up, 16-0. Against the spread, 15-1.
Really?
Yep.
Spreads of 37 and
37.5 or more opening weekend FBS matchups since 2013. Penn State is a 44.5-point favorite against Nevada. Georgia is 39.5 against Marshall. Ole Miss 37.5 against Georgia State. There are 5 games with massive lines week 1. And this is significantly more than average considering there have only been 16 in 12 years.
So
USC and Michigan are the other 2 that are giant. Ole Miss as well.
Oklahoma's 36.5, but that's under 37. And Vanderbilt's 36.5 as well. I got burned last week on a big line. On the UNLV minus 27. Like I was a little PO'd. Yeah. Like Idaho State did it once again, screwed us all over on the big lines. They did it last year with Oregon too.
That's what the sputters do. They screw us over. People get confused when you grow up in Iowa. Oh, you're from Idaho? No, can you not hear? I'm from Iowa. Beautiful area out there, though. All right, that'll do it for the show. When we come back tomorrow, we'll be a day away from being a day away.
No, we'll be there. We're there.
No,
Come on.
We'll be a day
We're
away.
sleep away.
No, this is why kids are really struggling in school. Okay?
Are they?
Yes, because you are part of the world of math confusion.
I'm good at math. I did rapid math earlier in the show today, and you were shocked. I did 18 times 4.
I just say when it's 2 plus 4, that equals 6. I don't need to show what 2 looks like and how you get to 4 and what happens in the middle. 2 plus 4 is 6.
It's PEMDAS.
We're overcomplicating things. All right, run the ball. All right, I don't need my West Coast math. I need my run the ball math. It's very simple.
Run the ball rule.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank
For
you.
Matt, I'm Gary. Crossover is coming up next.